fun, but this
Ugh. Are you wearing shorts? No panties on the camera. Get on with yourself. Hi friends, welcome in. I bet you could guess what just happened, couldn't you? I hit the... Are you wearing shorts? Are you wearing shorts, or are you going to sit like a fancy lady? Okay, you sit like a fancy lady then. We're going to watch a little bit of this and play video games for now. But we will do that this week. That can be our what we need to do this week, because we got nothing to do. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and 7-3 day and Thursday you're gonna pretend that you eat turkey, but you don't. Okay. Pink, yellow is what you're gonna make, I guess. And mommy's gonna do... Oh, fuck. Hang on, I can't get it out. Pink. Yellow. Oh, it's 3 pinks! No way. You don't get to do all 3 pinks. That's bananas. Okay, I want to do purple and red. You can't do all 3 pinks. That's just greedy guts. You gotta give up... Nuh-uh! You gotta give up 1 pink. You gotta give up 1 pink. You can't have all the pinks. That's balonies. That's balonies! Balonies. Come on. You gotta trade 1 pink. The 1 pink that you can live without. Which one is it? The pink with the white? The pink with the red. Alright. You gotta do a yellow. Okay. We'll do those Monday, buddy. Here, put them back. Stack them on. You still have to finish your butterfly. And you just opened something else. And you have something that you were building on the floor. See, look. They're all going to be right here. Look. Look. In your thing. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Not today. This is not a today job. I will fight you. Don't make me throw hands, because I friggin' will. Oh, buddy. The punches, I will punch you in the punch. Will be so punched that you will be punched. That's right. Yeah.
Well, check this out.
Did you just pull sword?
Pull sword.
Oh, you want to pull... Wait, you took my sword, buddy. Wait.
You didn't use that blood.
I need up our sword. It sucks. Let's go. Let's go, buddy. Oh, don't knock anything down. No. No cutting. Side, side. Not up and down. Yeah.
Wait, trade sword.
Oh, okay, trade swords. Okay. Do you beg forgiveness?
Here.
All right. Hi. Oh, yes. That's Finn. He's great. This is Finn. Hi. Yes, that is a Finn plushie. Hang on. Yeah. Finn. And he's hanging out with a backpack that's a ginormous Jack Skellington. And this used to be right here, but Alice came in here and picked a fight, but my Hollow Knight pillow was right beside it. And my dad would chill right here and watch us hang. That's my dad! Yeah. There's also a cherry blossom Rilakuma. Oh yeah, I mean. We've got Kuromi over there, the pink one. The pink bear that you're not allowed to take out of here, because it's mine! No! Bad dog!
I'm not a dog.
That was fun. Who cut your hair? Was it you again? Stop doing that. Please stop cutting your hair. If you want to go to the barber, we can go to the barber. But you need to stop cutting your hair. Okie dokie?
Okie dokie.
Sweet beans. Alright, you know what? We need to play this random ass video about Starbucks Bear.
It's funny that you call me a dog.
Well, you knocked the fan off. It worked, didn't it? It worked. It's just like when we're in stores and Mommy has to make goat noises because you don't answer to your name. Mommy's like, "Mah." Mah. It's true. She doesn't answer to her name in stores. She just doesn't.
Bad dog.
Bad dog! Was that so funny? You're silly. Oh, we forgot to turn the TikTok on. Whoops.
Bad dog again.
Bad dog. Are you farting? Are you farting? Because that's not the same thing. She's blowing
Don't
farts.
eat that.
You dirty doggy! Ouch.
Ouch.
You just stomped on my foot, dude.
You just stomped on my foot, dude.
Oh, anybody that tells you to have children is not your friend.
It's not your friend.
Yeah, she's trying to repeat me, but I speak too fast, so ha!
And so repeating.
You smelly little poo face.
You smelly little poof.
Hey! What is the rules? Shorts or...
So, or toss. Shorts or toss.
Shorts or pants, bro. No panties on the stream. That's the rules. You know the rules. What's your brains, Brenda? Where's your brains, Brenda? God. Oh, yeah. Hi, friends. Welcome in. Oh, wait. We didn't even play the song yet. Don't snarf at me. She's sniffing me. Okay. Okay. My child is going to get me back. Go put shorts on or pajama pants on. You can't have your bluey panties out here on the stream. Okay? You just can't. You got to put some shorts underneath or some pajama pants. You don't have to keep them on forever just while the camera's on. Okay? Okay. You gonna get us DMCA'd, girl. Hey. Okay, here. We're watching this bullshit on YouTube while I play video games. You get to watch it too. Oh, right. Wait, squirrel. I remembered. Boop.
We're gonna have some fun tonight, 'cause you can't touch my boobies. Don't be shy, yeah, it's alright, 'cause you can't touch my boobies.
Did you got shorts? Nice. All right, we're safe. We got shorts. We are shorts the donks.
Short.
We have shorted the donk. There will be
Holiday
no
drops are supposed to be fun. But
flappy
this
daps
Starbucks
hanging out.
one?
Oh, wait. Okay, we
Wrong.
missed it again. I don't know what's going on!
Holiday merch drops are supposed
Holiday
to be
merch.
fun, but this Starbucks launch went
Ew.
wrong fast.
Look at it.
Please leave a path to get to the register.
Verbal disputes, physical altercations, and extreme reselling prices all over a teddy bear cup.
They literally cut the line and just cleared out all the shelves.
The
Love
drama
you.
over these Starbucks bear cups is absolutely insane.
Officially, it's
One
the glass
must
Starbucks
calm their
Barista
titties.
Cold cup, a 20-ounce glass cup shaped like a bear with a green beanie lid and a striped straw. The first announcement of this product came from Starbucks' website on October 6, 2025. The brand quietly listed several upcoming
Listen,
holiday
sure,
merch
it's cute and
items
whatever.
in an
Don't
article
use it,
along
though.
with the Barista
You know how fucking
cup,
gross that's gonna
which
be
they
to clean?
described would make your
How hard
drinks
it's gonna be to
never
get
look
in all them
cuter.
nooks and
And
crannies
while it wasn't
inside?
cheap, it was still something people didn't mind splurging on. Priced at $29.95 in the US. The article also revealed
Mary.
their holiday merch would release on
And it
November
don't keep it
6th
hot?
and would be available for a limited
It's just a
time
cold
while
cup and shit.
supplies last. So, a month later, on November 4th, just
There's my
days
chickens.
leading up to the launch day, Starbucks began promoting the cup on social media. People were excited to see it on video. Stop, this is so cute. It's not a want, it's a need. But collectors and fans knew what this really meant. As one put it, and so begins my 36 hours of sheer panic. Yes, people began digging into how many their local Starbucks would stock up, and surprisingly, many locations were only carrying 2 cups per store. Another user said, if you're lucky, maybe 12. Then there was the timing. The cups were set to launch during the opening shift of November 6th. For Starbucks locations that are open 24 hours, a new day typically starts at 4 a.m. So if you wanted any chance at getting the Barista cup, you'd have to be there at 4:01 a.m. And just as expected, in the early hours of November 6th, lines all over the country began forming.
I got to Starbucks at 4:15 a.m., just 15 minutes before opening, and already a line. Look at all these people. And guess what? No limit per person. I knew my chances were probably non-existent.
In other locations, people arrived as early as 2 a.m.
Monkey butts.
And at least one person showed up the day before on November 5th.
Y'all, I'm the only person at Starbucks at 10 o'clock at night waiting for my cup.
This is literally my favorite person.
Sweet baby Jesus. It's a fucking cup, y'all. Come on down.
Do y'all see that? There's only 6.
When doors opened, staff were visibly stressed.
It is first come, first serve, so please be respectful of each other, okay? Thank you. The store is now open.
And with only 2 to 12 cups per location, you can imagine how desperate customers got. One location carrying only 2 cups had a mishap right off the bat.
Please leave a path to get to the register. Leave some space so that I can sweep this mess.
In another video, a customer at checkout was cussed out by other customers waiting in line.
No. It said on there's only one no.
It actually doesn't on mine say that.
When you take a closer look at the video, you can see there are at least 5 Barista cups at the
I
checkout
mean-
counter. Of course, verbal harassment shouldn't happen, but people understood the outrage, commenting, "To be honest, I would be pretty pissed too. You don't need all those cups. That is so
That's a
selfish."
reseller.
No, but that's valid, because why do you need more than one? OP responded to multiple people claiming she only had 2, only bought 2, had 2. Yet others called her out. You sure about that? Were they keeping them on the counter? Because there's a bunch on the counter. No, she's lying for some reason. And another comment, she said she was gifting a few. She bought more than 2, LOL. And that comment is right here, where she denied being a reseller. "I'm not selling, I wanted to give them away." Others explained that we shouldn't make assumptions without knowing her situation. "I have a family of 5, would that also make me selfish?" Which OP liked. And another person felt the anger was misdirected. Be mad at the company for not supplying a fair amount per store, not the people buying them.
It's intentional.
Still, whether it was OP or others who waited in the early hours of the morning to buy out the stock, a few people wished ill upon them. To this lady that got 2 of the teddy bear cups, I hope it breaks ASAP. Things didn't stop with verbal disputes. At a New Jersey location, a group
Oh,
of grown adults
Kirsty
actually
putting
got
hands
physical,
on in
pulling
Jersey,
and
bitch.
elbowing each other.
Hey.
It got so bad at one Harris County, Texas location that police posted a Facebook notice explaining how they were called out early that morning. Happening now, when it's 5 a.m. and the drama's already brewing. Reports came in of several individuals refusing to leave the store and fighting over a new barista cup. Deputies are on scene, restoring peace before anyone spilled their latte or lost their teddy bear. People were shocked. I mean, the cup is cute, but not 5 a.m. brawl cute. And there wasn't only drama with customers. Employees were also taking the heat. At 2 a.m. in a Kroger's location, a customer caught employees buying out the barista cups.
I believe some of the people in front of me got there like even earlier, so I can't only even imagine. But here's the Starbucks, and if you look there, you can already see employees, including Kroger employees, checking out the cups before we could even get them after we waited in line for them. So I mean, I wasn't that mad, but the people in front of me, they were pissed.
At a Starbucks location in Texas, a few customers confronted the staff after waiting outside since 3:30 a.m.
It's all one finish report, correct? Together as a team. And we watch them.
When customers pressed further, the employees seemed to have a different story from what customers saw.
I have a kitty.
I have a kitty.
And you just buy it. Just walk in and buy it. Work there. That's cool.
Customers even blasted the name of the employee who allegedly bought the cup.
His name is Mark.
At another location, while lining up outside around 4:50 a.m. or earlier, a customer noticed there were originally 2 barista cups on the shelf. But as it got closer to opening time,
Which two? Now there's one because the employees started buying them for themselves.
he managed to buy the last one, but others behind him began confronting the staff about
right
the
here.
alleged second cup.
There's supposed to be 2.
There's only one on the shelf.
I only have the one out.
There's a kitty.
Suddenly, being told there was video evidence, the employee admitted their staff bought one cup.
What do you think it's sausage?
Because it's mine and I want to. We gotta go buy it toys in the morning.
We were not told that.
If that was hard to believe, well, another customer at a different location got video evidence of employees
You
lining
can't
up with
see
barista
inside
cups,
the bathroom.
Hello Kitty
That's a
Starbucks
pervert.
collab merch, and more.
Yeah, but you never bought
All the Starbucks
Do you need me to
employees
go have a
did.
shower? Is that what's up? Because
And
I
they
will.
took everything.
Yes,
You
yes.
know it
We
just
were waiting in
says
line outside.
that you went and had a shower. Look, look. Take a bath. That's it.
That is so crazy to me. Like just because you work here, now you're just gonna take all this.
Coda D Stylist, who filmed the video, was
Hey,
frustrated,
I told
explaining
ya.
she lined up at 2
You don't get to
a.m.,
see you take a
2
bath,
hours
you
before
pervert.
doors opened. Yet staff who arrived much later got to cut the line.
And it's a
It's,
raining
like,
day, so we gotta go
3:50,
get her
like,
some
the line's
toys and
starting to,
shit.
Pick up, like people are starting to get in. All I see is these 4 girls go in front of me, and the manager was inside. The Starbucks comes in, unlocks the door, and she let the 4 girls in. So I'm thinking, okay, like maybe they're working. I don't know. She lets them in, and they just cleared the whole store. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's anything that could be done about it, but I just want you to see what happened, and then you tell me what you think.
Another angle of the incident showed customers confronting the 4 girls who arrived in their pajamas.
You guys have to wait in line just like the rest of
Everybody else, that is not fair. That is not right.
We didn't get for 2 hours.
Whoever's the manager, you guys better stop this because you know this is wrong. We are going to report this, all of you guys. That's right. This is not right.
And similar disputes happened at various other locations, like this.
Shopping on Starbucks Plus. I've got to put it. She's shopping on Starbucks Plus. She's gonna pay.
And this.
Was standing out there waiting. She must have some kind of special privilege because they just let her walk in here before everyone. I will be complaining to corporate because this is just so wrong.
However, the customers calling out the staff didn't get the support they were likely looking for, as many pointed out.
What in the entire
It is a cup.
is wrong with people? A glass Bear cup? It's basically a sippy cup.
A Starbucks employee also offered her opinion.
You know what the special privilege is? Being a barista, clocking in, going to work, and having to deal with customers exactly like you. Mind you, we paid full price for these cups. We do not get our discount on that. We paid full price.
Which many supported. I ain't mad. They worked so freaking hard, let them have the cool cups. You can apply online and open at 3:30 a.m. A collector even offered a different perspective.
Honestly, I love it. I love the drama. I love the action. I love seeing people going outside, shopping, waiting, communicating with each other, even if it's arguing, because these are new collectors, new people trying to get something they really enjoy. It's interesting. It's fun. It's great. I think more people should be doing this. This is exactly how I want Black Friday to be again.
But there were some people who didn't agree. So weird that the employees think this is okay. It would be like Walmart and Target allowing their staff to have first dibs on Black Friday deals, or Ticketmaster allowing their staff to have first dibs before people who signed up for pre-sale tickets. Everyone downplaying people's excitement for something is so odd, bro. Every single one of you has something you love or want badly. However, according to the Starbucks rulebook, they don't necessarily have to wait in line. After one store manager bought a bear cup upon opening hours, a customer threatened to call Corp, claiming she was a former Starbucks employee who knew about a new rule that staff couldn't buy merch unless on break. The manager gave the customer her cup just to defuse the situation. But afterwards, the manager checked the real Starbucks handbook and found out that this rule doesn't exist, as another employee who witnessed the scene explained. It literally says there is no time limit / amount of merchandise we can buy as long as it's bought when the store opens. We have been getting calls all morning about the cups, and people yelling and screaming at us over the phone for having limited stock. Please, please, please stop this. We have no control over this stuff. Other locations reported different rules. We were told specifically by our manager this wasn't allowed. Regardless of what the rules were, this led some people to call out Starbucks Corp to make changes
adding
for future
toppings.
lunches. I'm sorry, but if it's a perk, they should make separate batches for employees.
See?
So
It's
loyal
got new ones.
customers
Mushroom
can get their cups
marinade,
too. Because without loyal
pickles.
customers, you wouldn't have that job. But just when you thought things couldn't get worse, they did. As you may know,
I need
with
to grow
all
onions.
things limited edition,
We got
they can
all.
go for a very
We can make
steep
this.
price. So, some people were only in line for the sake of buying and reselling for profit.
I just bought this.
I bet your
for
dad knows what this
$30,
says.
Listed it on eBay, and within 20 minutes, it sold for $215. Right there.
A scroll through popular reselling app Depop showed the Barista Cup hovering around $180 to $300.
Onion soup.
Facebook
Oh,
and
yep.
eBay also showed similar numbers.
See, you can
There were
put
even some
crunchy
bidding
bread on
wars that
top
went for
instead.
nearly
That's what this
17
says.
times the
It
retail
says you can
price.
also
In
add
case
these
y'all didn't
green
know,
things.
bro, this is literally a grand just sitting on my countertop.
They are reselling the Starbucks teddy bear cup for $500, and a lot of them have sold.
If you're trying to cop one, let me know. 500 each.
Some even took it to extreme levels and listed their
Hey, we can get
Barista
this.
Cup as high as $50,000.
I gotta go get it.
The kind of money you
It's
put
outside.
toward a car,
Burdock.
wedding, or even a down payment on a home. This angered people because resellers were taking away stock from people who would have genuinely used the cup. So you've got the collectors and resellers, but there was also one other group of people.
But what does it do? Why are people buying it for $500?
The group of people who saw it for what it is, a cup. And a cup that wasn't worthy of 2 a.m. lineups, 5 a.m. brawls, or cussing out fellow citizens. As many expressed, consumerism is a disease. Humans are devolving. The United States of embarrassment. For some, the situation looked so ridiculous because the bear-shaped containers looked so familiar, and for a much cheaper price. Yes, people began flooding social media with the classic bear-shaped honey condiment bottles and the jumbo bear-shaped animal cracker storage containers. DIYers began emptying out the contents and filling it up with their drink of choice. Some shared cheaper alternatives like the $5 bear cup at Target, $2 bear craft jar from
jam?
Walmart, and a $1.50
How do you
bear
make
jar
jam?
from Dollar Tree. However, it's not clear if these plastic containers are craft jars or
cool.
food safe. People also began pointing out the flaws with creative kitchenware like the Barista Cup, hoping to de-influence people from overconsumption. Ever since I saw someone mention that they'd be tough to clean, I didn't want it anymore. I already struggle with gasket issues, lol. This and not fitting in a cup holder. Not me over here throwing these types of cups away because you can't put them in the dishwasher. And a few people pointed out the disappointing reality for many holiday merch and novelty items in general. They'll be in a Goodwill by January. It'll be in a landfill in a year. It's viral for a short time and then the following week it's another thing. But for some, the cuteness and rareness of these cups were too good to pass up. And these cheap alternatives just couldn't compete with the design of the Barista Cup. Unfortunately, fraudulent sellers have taken advantage of this. In an Amazon listing with a cup almost identical to the Starbucks Barista Cup, one user pointed out the red flags.
The reason why this listing is completely fake is because this photos right over here have been used so many times in various of listings.
In fact, if we pause on the listing photo, you can see the Starbucks logo was erased from the original cup. There's still remnants of the logo on the cup. The biggest giveaway, however, is the AI promo video, where the actress misses the straw completely when going in for a sip.
This video is completely a flippin' eye.
The TikTok user explained how to stay safe when buying from third-party sellers.
Scrolling down the listing to see if there was any reviews at all. So far, nothing.
However, the safe options likely meant you'd be getting a different bear design.
Then I found out that there is actually people using these teddy bear glass cups as the alternatives to the Starbucks Barista cups. And honestly, this is adorable. There's actual ratings from people, and it's a good rating as well.
Throughout all of this, there was one burning question. Why did Starbucks, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, only have 2 to 12 cups per location, and some none at all? This led to conspiracy theories that this launch was never meant for us and that the limited stock was intentional to purposely cause a bloodbath.
By the time I got inside, gone. Only 2 cups in the entire store. Scarcity tactics? Definitely.
If
we pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches, mattresses, bed frames, concrete, things like that. Same day notice or 3 weeks in advance.
That's what you get when you hire professionals. It's good to know you're making a difference. We found some paper and cardboard out of the job and we sort through it. Instead of just throwing the stuff in the dirt, you're actually...
Mashed Manders rated your channel with 4 views.
You don't have to do any of the moving. It doesn't matter whether it's in your garage, your backyard, front yard.
All you have to do is point.
Book online today. 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
welcome in! They purposely understocked the Barista cups. This would create an artificial supply shortage. The product suddenly becomes rare and customers panic buy. Social media videos only amplify the panic by showcasing just how chaotic the lineups and brawls were, making it look more desirable that people were literally fighting for it. And hearing it sold out makes it even more popular.
But what does it do? It's a Starbucks teddy bear cup, and they're sold out at Starbucks.
This whole setup, whether intentional or not, fuels the classic fear of missing out, that you should buy now or never see it again, effectively creating demand even long after the product has sold out. People became even more suspicious of this theory when Starbucks put out a statement on November 7, 2025. A spokesperson told CBC News, "We understand many customers were excited about the Barista cup and apologize for the disappointment this may have caused. And even though many stores were limited in stock, they claimed they had shipped many of the Barista cups to
floor
stores.
is lava.
More than almost
Sorry!
any other
I'm
merchandise
sorry!
item this
I'm
holiday
sorry. The
season.
floor is lava
Though
right
they
now,
didn't
and it required
specify
2 men.
numbers.
Okay?
They
It was a
also
2-man
added,
job.
the excitement
The floor
for our
was lava.
merchandise exceeded even our biggest
Jesus.
expectations. Essentially claiming to not know the demand for their product. This didn't seem genuine to some, as they wrote.
Hello,
"It's
my
all a
cute
plan.
little
They didn't
tater.
know the demand.
I
Of course
heard
they
you
did."
are an
Then there was
affiliate.
a suspicious restocking issue.
Hi,
When
girl,
Reno
hi.
Gazette Journal asked
I was getting
Starbucks if
some
they had plans to restock the
smashed
sold-out cups,
potato baby
they
food
did
stuff
not
out of the
provide
oven
a
'cause
straightforward answer.
struggling with
Instead,
salads
their
again.
spokesperson
But
said,
watching
"We have
some
more
bullshits
exciting
about this
merchandise
stuff.
coming this holiday season." But by November 15th through 17th, Just 9 to 11 days after the launch day, people
And
started
we're playing
sharing
video
these
games.
messages
Hey, girl.
online.
If you still need the Starbucks barista cup, whatever that cup called, that everybody was going crazy for, I heard that Starbucks with a Target restocked today.
I saw a post on Instagram that the actual Starbucks, the standalone Starbucks, were supposed to get a restock on November 17th, which is tomorrow.
Y'all, I went to Starbucks today with my husband, and they had a restock, but they didn't have any bear cups. I'm sure they sold out quick. So I guess it's not a rumor.
Enjoy
They
your
are
post-stream
restocking
stretches and all that
their
good stuff.
So
Thank you for
just
rating
be
me,
on the lookout.
Snookum.
And while some people did get their hands on the
It's raining.
restocked item, some locations have conflicting
I was just gonna
news.
go let all the animals
I asked
out.
my store if they would
Derp.
restock. They said no. 2 days later, they were restocked. My standalone stores already got their restocks here alongside the bear cups last week. OMG, same. My standalone got theirs twice now. I feel like they are randomly getting restocked. Other locations already quietly restocked a few days after launch day. All this confusing news only made people lose trust in Starbucks, as one person wrote. Starbucks did this intentionally for media coverage. They have already apologized for the shortage and announced they will be getting more. And now, thanks to the artificial scarcity, they know people will be out in large numbers to buy them. After all, how could
Ooh, I need
Starbucks
way more
possibly
silver.
underestimate the demand when they've had countless limited edition drops that caused the same sort of chaos in the past? Like the Starbucks Stanley collaboration just a year ago. And you don't have to look far for proof of scarcity driving demand. Just take a look at Labubu's, Disney tumblers, Pokemon cards, and more. But whether the limited stock of the Barista Cups was just an accident,
It is first come, first serve, so please be respectful of each other, okay? Thank you. The store is now open.
or something closer to strategy,
Scarcity tactics? Definitely.
at the end of the day, Starbucks and other corporations who play this game are the ones who walk away winning. So if you missed out on the Barista Cup, don't feel bad. There's always another big drop around the corner. And if you want an even wilder case, check out our video on a TikTok family where viewers are convinced the daughter needs to escape from. And consider liking.
Am I
Wait.
the a-hole for
Charlotte!
not wanting to compete with my
We are. With it.
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to compete with my sister at my own wedding? Oh!
Sisters.
I, 33 female, have a sister, we'll call her Libby, 36 female, who's always needed to one-up me my entire life. Ugh, I hate a one-upper. Hate a one-upper. There are a few people on this earth that deserve a hot pillow to sleep on. That gives them bad dreams, and one of them is a one-upper. If she can't, she'll play the victim to try to get attention. She has borderline personality disorder and is bipolar and manic at times. Okay, noted. I will keep that in mind. It's always a lot. Last summer, after dating for 2 years, my partner, Max, 34 male, and I got engaged. We FaceTimed our parents, and then he texted my family group chat sharing the news. Everyone congratulated us, except Libby.
Of course!
Instead, she announced she was dating someone. My goodness, what a wonderful opportunity to make it about you.
Weird.
Why are you talking about me? I see you. I see you.
Everyone kind of ignored the comment until a few days later. By September, we all met up in town for lunch to meet her new boyfriend, John, 37 male. John seemed nice, but was quiet. After a bit, my older sisters were asking details about the wedding, and Libby chimes in, cutting me off, by saying,
Isn't he wear white?
Like, why do you even have to ask that at this point? We've been through this. Come on, man. I just looked at her and said, sure, if you want to be thrown overboard. We were planning a private ceremony on a boat on the East Coast. Yeah, no, that's like walk the plank territory. She laughs and jokes we could just have a double wedding. No one was laughing, and John didn't seem to care. So many more comments were made, and my sisters had to keep asking if she was serious. We finished lunch pretty quickly and left. She texted me that she was glad I adored John. I didn't really get to know him because he didn't talk. And said they were excited about the wedding. I told her he wasn't invited and that I would need to think about it. Oh, okay, noted.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, see, the invite situation with weddings is a little sus. Like, I've been, in this position where, Mike and I had just started dating and I wasn't included in the wedding guest list for, like, one of Mike's friends. It was kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie, but, it's the couple's choice at the end of the day. And, like, I finally got it, like, when it came to my own wedding. And if you had been dating someone for a few months or something, or you were engaged or married, then like yes, obviously you would get a +1. But there were instances of like, well, why didn't I get a +1? Like I would have loved to have brought a date. And it's like, this is not a place to have like a first date, because every person that you invite to a wedding like costs money. You don't know how those people are gonna act if you don't know them. So
Black
it's
Rose.
and it costs money to invite people you don't know to your wedding, and you don't really understand that until you have your own.
And that doesn't encourage your thought.
And I am a real liability, so I get why I wasn't included in the wedding guest list. Oh man. I told her he wasn't invited and I would need to think about it. I then texted her by recapping all the things she said that made me uncomfortable. I ended by saying if she takes attention away from Max or I on our wedding weekend, she's cut out of our lives. Fast forward to the ceremony and the whole day was perfect. I married my best friend and we were in bliss.
Chili's.
Libby and John, we did end up inviting him. Tried mingling with people, but no one would talk to them because they've been making rude comments about Max and I. They ended up leaving early. That was May. Now we're hosting a big reception for all the extended family and friends in our home state where we live next month. I work in the event industry and I'm going all out, cashing in favors and just ready to really party. I thought all was good until I started getting messages from extended family about telling my sister she's not allowed to get engaged or married until 2026. What? I just took a screenshot of Libby and I's convo and sent it to them. All of them apologized. Libby is going around telling people that you told her not to get engaged or married until 2026? Okay. All of them apologized. I talked to Libby and she said they were lying and she never said that. Then during a family dinner, my parents asked if we were going to start a family and Max shared we were after the reception. Libby looked at John and smirked and went back to eating. Well, that was 3 months ago. 2 months ago, she found out she may have cancer, so my family kind of dropped everything to focus on her. We all did. Turns out it was not cancer.
You scared the jeepers out of me.
Then she said they were trying to get pregnant. Now, my family is super religious. Like, will not be happy or celebrate until you're married if possible.
All we've got to do is just keep our pants on.
So I figured she'd wait till she was engaged and that it was happening soon. Well, today, I found out by accident that Libby is 8 weeks pregnant and planning to secretly announce something at our reception. It's like,
okay, well, I can't get engaged, but she can't stop me from getting pregnant.
It's giving one-upper. I am taking her mental health problems into account. I am. No one knows except 3 people. She's taken so much from my life. I have no idea if she's announcing her pregnancy or if they're engaged, but she will try to make it about her. She told the family she plans on using the name we picked out for 3 years if it's a boy.
What the hell?
I just want to uninvite her, but I'm not supposed to know about the pregnancy, and outside of that, I don't really have a justifiable reason that won't make me look like the a-hole. I already notified my maid of honor and planner, my 2 besties, and they want a game plan to avoid some issues, but WTF, I'm not spending all this money for a family feud at our celebration of marriage. Ooh, yeah. That's a tough one. Yeah. I mean, at this point, like, you do know about it. She's your sister, so it's hard. It's hard not to include her. It just seems like she just keeps finding ways to try and one-up you, despite you setting boundaries.
Oh, that's not very nice.
It's a tough one because she is your sister,
Just a
and
donkey.
like, could there be a way of making sure your bridal party and your mom just sort of stop her from doing anything? But like, I just feel like if she wants to cause a scene, she will cause a scene. Ugh. The fact that you're worried about this leading up to your wedding is so annoying, or at least your wedding reception. You know what I mean? Today's video is sponsored by Bombas. Introducing the Bombas Sunday Slipper. And listen, calling it a slipper feels like the understatement of the year. These things feel like my feet are being hugged by a baby lamb with separation anxiety. Bombas Sunday Slipper are the perfect gift for your whole family. If you want to give people a gift that they will actually use, I've been living in these for the past 2 months. The inside and the outside are made of this super soft Sherpa. Warm, but not sweaty. for the most part. And the grips on the bottom help me speed walk around my house like a ping pong ball. Bombas is a purpose-driven brand with a one purchased, one donated policy. They've donated 150 million essential clothing items to date, and they come with a 100% happiness guarantee. Not only do your feet win, your conscience wins. That's the type of multitasking I need as an adult. Feel good and do good with Bombas, knowing that your purchase is doing some real good out there. New customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just go to bombas.com/Charlotte Dobre, all caps, and use code Charlotte Dobre, all caps, at checkout. All right, let's see what other people said in the comments. If you have a family group chat, you can congratulate her now before your party. Then there's nothing to announce. That's a good one. If not, make sure she doesn't go near the mic. If she gets angry, ignore her. You could kind of like maybe see if you can budget for like some sort of security to take her out. Agreed, she can't go near the mic.
Well, I have
Hello, motherfucker.
You don't.
But at the same time, people still like, you know, if they start like
Alice
hitting their
is home
glass
all
or
week.
whatever, and they
Everyone, I'd like to make an announcement.
like a mic is not going to matter. She's just going to yell it. If you don't have a family group chat, do it on social media. Either way, make sure everyone knows she has nothing to announce. It kind of just sounds like she'll find a different way to steal the spotlight or try to steal the spotlight. You know what I mean? I like the idea of kind of spilling the beans.
I'm sorry.
Give her a taste of her own medicine, you know what I
said
mean?
hi.
OP responded, the issue is my aunt doesn't know I found out, and she's apparently the only one in the family that knows. So if I spill the beans, I could ruin my relationship with her. I genuinely care for my aunt more than my sister, which I know is effed up, but trying to figure out a way to enforce her to tell me prior so I can address it without anyone else being involved. Someone said, just chat to her with someone there as a witness. Suggest going for sushi and say, unless you're pregnant, and read it in whatever her reaction is. Be thrilled for her. Make plans for the baby shower, give her some of the attention she craves. And then let it out in the family so she can't steal your spotlight at the reception.
Genius. Let's do this.
OP says, okay, this is generous. Taking notes. Noted. Yeah, I mean, these are all very sneaky ways to have to deal with someone with very clear mental health problems. So I'm interested to know what happened, and we do have an update. So I honestly have been taking a few days to process everything because it just kept coming in, and I'm a week out from our big day. The day after finding out, I chatted with my wedding planner and maid of honor to set up fail-safes just in case she tried to pull something. They both have been in my life for so long and super protective of me. Neither are a fan of my sister, and told me that if I found out, they're sure others found out. And they were right.
Suck it, Nancy.
Suck it, Nancy.
I had two family members come forward a few days later and confess they knew and wanted to warn me. I chatted with my wedding planner and she told me everything will be okay and to just trust her. She's got my back. After talking to her, I did feel better. I'm glad you have a good wedding planner and support system.
And I fully support that. You know that, right?
Sucks that you even have to take these kind of precautions, but it is what it is. Fast forward to today. Libby called me sobbing. She let me know she was in fact pregnant, but that she miscarried. Oh. Okay. She does not know if she can even come anymore and said she's too upset to be around people. Oh my. Oh, that's horrible. I told her I would support whatever decision she made, and ultimately she's staying home. Okay, fair. It's up to her. During that call, I lost all anger and anxiety and stress over the situation, and I felt conflicted. I would never wish ill on someone who has or is having a miscarriage. That is a traumatic experience, and I'm grieving for her. On the other side, I feel horrible that I am relieved.
I'm going straight to hell.
No, that's totally fair. It's definitely like a very conflicting thing because like it's a horrible thing to have to go through, and I'm sure you don't wish that on your own sister, like, and certainly not anyone. I get why you're relieved, like I do. I cannot explain every situation she's put me through my entire life, but I never saw her as a mom. I know it sounds harsh, but I would never want another soul to endure what I did.
Everything burns.
I just wish none of this happened, and I honestly do not truly know how to comfort her. I told her to talk to my other sisters because they both have had miscarriages and could support her better. My maid of honor thinks it's all a lie, and Libby's doing this to try and ruin my day. Oh. That's an interesting take. It would be an effective way of taking your wedding day away from you and making things kind of about her.
It's mine, you understand? Mine, all mine.
I don't want to jump the gun and say that I believe that, but I wouldn't be surprised. You did say that when she can't steal the shine, she plays the victim. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Is all I'm saying. I truly think it's all real, and I just want her to find peace and therapy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is hard. This is hard.
You know what, I'm
I
just gonna
get
go to
why
sleep.
you're conflicted. People in the comments are
not
saying
letting
that they
me
don't
give
believe
that
she
toy.
miscarried. I think her plan fell through and she's embarrassed.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Yup, someone let her know that Sissy knew she was going to say she was pregnant, so now she has to make drama some other way. That girl is poison. Ooh, okay. Interesting takes,
upgrades
guys.
at the store. Nice.
Here's the thing. Treat it as if she did miscarry, but don't let her, like, take away from your happiness, okay? If she says she can't come, you know, give her the support that she needs. Check in on her. See if she's okay. But at the end of the day, you know, you want to celebrate. This is your wedding or your wedding reception, and you have a right to focus on yourself that day. The focus is on her every other day of the year, you know? I've been in situations before where, like, friends of mine had medical issues and, you know, they weren't able to attend weddings, or, you know, they kept the issues to themselves, and, like, it's just one day. You know, it's one day where, like, if something bad is like a medical emergency or whatever, if the bride doesn't have to know about it or fixate on it on her wedding day, I just don't know if it's worth telling her. Like, still, you know, give her a reasonable amount of attention, make sure she's okay, because again, she could have actually miscarried. Like, let's not assume, but also taking into account that she tends to play the victim and make it about her in other ways. So, my exact thought, how convenient that right after the family told OP she suddenly miscarried. Don't you dare change her plans or back down. She's probably trying to lull you into a false sense of calm. She knows you're soft, OP. She knows exactly how to play you and twist your emotions. I get it. You want to just relax and enjoy your day, but Cruella won't rest, so neither can you. Do not cancel the safeguards you have in place. OP responded, we haven't canceled any safeguards just in case. However, they did tell my parents they are also not coming due to her recovery now. Oh, get well soon. My parents are not exactly happy with her, and a lot of family isn't talking to her. It's a mixed bag on people truly believing her. Okay, interesting that your own family doesn't believe her. So we do have another update. OP updated and said, I figured I would share what I hope is my last update. My wedding reception was this past weekend, and we had a blast. Oh, thank God. I'm so happy to hear. Congratulations, by the way. The whole night, we were surrounded by amazing friends and family. Libby and John got there late to arrive, and my tribe of besties helped us avoid them the whole time. Okay, so they did come. Interesting that they weren't so distraught that they couldn't be there. Interesting. She apparently recovered immediately and was in good spirits. Okay. It sucks that we have to be so jaded to even have these, like, feelings about people, you know? Ugh. People that are manipulative are just so exhausting, you know? Like, I'm a very face value kind of gal. There's a reason why I'm a dog gal, because I'm like, I either love you or I don't want to be around you. Like, there's no in between. And I'm not gonna go out of my way to manipulate people, because that is exhausting. Like, just because I know how to do it does not mean I want to do it.
No, thank you, though.
I almost always get caught in lies, so that's another thing. The few people that actually knew about what happened were concerned because she wasn't breathing. More like she was plotting. I don't know how to describe it. The following is all secondhand because, like I said, we were focused on us. Thank God. Good. So Libby and John hit the bar pretty hard to start. I had a few childhood friends have heated combos with Libby that I didn't find out about until the next day. Thank God they didn't tell you on the day of. Those are some good friends. Basically, Libby has never been the friendly one. There were several people that we were friends with growing up. However, I was close to a lot of them, and they would avoid her like the plague. My parents never forced friendships because they felt that wasn't fair on anyone. One of my friends, Marie, was there with her new boyfriend. According to Marie, Libby started asking her questions on why she was at the reception. When Marie said that she'd been invited, Libby said she didn't understand why, because apparently Marie and I are not friends.
I'm not sure if any of us can see what all this is supposed to mean.
Which is 100% not true, because Marie and I have always been relatively close. We don't see each other that much, but we do stay in touch and talk on the phone. John apparently joined the conversation and said he thought it was odd that a lot of Libby's friends were at our wedding. When Marie asked what he meant, he said it was from his understanding that most of the family friends that were present were friends with Libby and not me. Marie laughed and said she's never been friends with Libby, turned to Libby and told her she needs to grow up. Basically, this style of conversation happened multiple times with several people to the point where John and Libby ended up leaving halfway through the evening. She even tried to get my best friends, including my maid of honor and planner, to come sit with her during certain wedding functions that they were participating in. My maid of honor kept asking her to repeat herself because clearly she wasn't hearing her correctly. Someone asked Libby if she was trying to ruin my big day. At this point, my family stepped in and asked Libby to leave. Most of the extended family knew about the miscarriage and thought all of her behavior was super weird. Yeah, this to me is like her tactics changed, you know? Yeah, to me, this is like she tried to ruin the wedding by, you know, making some sort of announcement. Then she said she miscarried, and now she's at the wedding, supposedly totally fine and over her
this
grief,
fucking mouse
kind
thing
of
into here
picking
for now.
fights with people,
Get my
saying
way.
negative things,
Go let the other animals out.
making it kind of about her, and like, quite frankly, there's a time and a place to have these conversations, and it certainly is not at a wedding. Like, for one day, can you put your drama aside for one day, for the love of God? I've had a lot of people messaging me about random things that she did or said, and they all apologized to me, saying they hope she didn't ruin my day. She didn't. Period. As of current, she's going to be uninvited from Thanksgiving and possibly Christmas, which has blown up into a whole ordeal. Apparently, John planned to propose to Libby at our Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.
My dad no longer thinks the miscarriage was real due to how she was behaving at the reception. There's lots of things that happened that I won't put in a list here, but I'm just thankful there was security, local PD on site. Libby has gone crazy. The last little bit was that we had in our thank you speech to all the guests about starting a family one day and maybe being blessed with a little boy's name or little girl's name. I swear, I thought Libby's eyes were gonna pop out of... Oh wait, so you then said the name out loud that she wanted to take at your wedding so everyone knows that it was your idea? That's good. That's good.
You're a genius.
I swear, I thought Libby's eyes were gonna pop out and steam come out of her ears. We think this is the moment that caused her to start the aggressive combos that led to her leaving early. John has messaged me since saying I purposely campaigned with everyone to make Libby feel bad about herself. I haven't responded, and Mark and I have decided to go no contacts. Ooh, John is in for a rough ride. My whole family's supporting us, so it's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Either way, just happy it's over and that we had a blast. Here's to a new chapter with
Let's
my
go see
favorite
what we
human.
can grow
Thank
now,
you for being supportive and
because they said the
understanding.
store got
It's been
expanded.
great being validated during this time. I'm happy to hear that it went well. Happy to hear that you didn't let her ruin things. It sucks that this is your own sister, you know? Like, why can't people just have some social decorum? Just a little decorum for one day. Is it really that much to ask? I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
Are you the a-hole for not wanting to compete with your sister at your own wedding? I mean, it wasn't a competition until she made it one. But no, you're not. We got some more sister wedding drama, honey. I ain't going nowhere. Am I the a-hole for allowing my 5'11" sister to wear 7-inch heels to my wedding? When my husband and I first met through a dating website, we discovered not much longer after that we had younger siblings the same age. I, female 22 at the time, and my husband, then male 26, both had siblings that were the exact same age. When we introduced our families to each other, our then 17-year-old siblings decided to date each other. Okay, but they're like, that's, oh, okay. With a 2-hour driving gap between the two of them, they had a lot of problems. After they both graduated, they decided to move in together after many protests from us. We sat them down and explained they needed to be sure at the ripe old age of 18 that living together was a smart idea. At this point, I'm 23 and my partner's 27, and we're expecting our first baby. Keep it in the family, eh? Oh my goodness. My husband proposed to me that Christmas and all was well. We had our baby in April, and soon after, our siblings broke up. Our siblings broke up.
Thank God I'm free of that nightmare.
As soon as we were semi-financially recovered from giving birth to a little girl, we immediately hit the ground running planning our wedding. Obviously, both of those siblings would be in our bridal party. And it just coincidentally lined up according to the order he wanted for his groomsmen and the order I wanted for my bridesmaids.
Oh, wait, I
the
wanted to go to the
siblings
store.
would walk together. By the time of the wedding, my sister is now with someone else and having a baby. I invite sisters, then boyfriend, and baby daddy to the wedding. In my mind, this man will always be in my life as he's the father of my niece, whether or not him and my sister stay together. And I will not regret him having at my wedding.
I regret nothing. The end.
Brother-in-law and mother-in-law flip out when they somehow find out that my sister's boyfriend / baby daddy would be in attendance at the wedding. Mother-in-law, who in herself is a certified narcissist nut job, started causing so many issues involving the wedding. My husband and I saw
Mushroom
nothing
head.
wrong, and we would have invited brother-in-law's girlfriend if he had one. We then started receiving phone calls about how rude and inconsiderate husband and I were for forcing the siblings to walk down the aisle with each other.
Get over it.
Okay. Walk down the aisle with each other. I mean, it's not that deep. It's not like you're saying that they're together. Maybe did they have like a bad breakup or something? Like they were siblings.
They're not walking
at the
down
end of the
together,
day.
they're
Like,
walking
they still
down
kind
beside
of
each
are,
other.
So I'm just saying. It caused huge problems and was a huge source of stress for my husband and I. After we sat down and talked, my husband and I decided that we would bump brother-in-law down one on the lineup and have him walk with my other sister. Okay, seems like a decent solution. He then had a problem with that as brother-in-law is short and my sister is not.
I am short, fat, proud of that.
Off. Then that started a whole other wave of problems. Oh, do not bring me problems on my wedding day. Ever. Do not bring the bride and groom problems. It's not about you. I had had enough and told them to shut their mouth and to be grateful that they're in our wedding at all after everything they put us through, and suggested if they had such a problem with it, they could back out. Honestly, this is kind of why I didn't have like a wedding party. People in the wedding party are like, it's just so annoying. Like you just never know, right? Like you never, it's just like this best friend competition, and like there's just always weirdness, it seems, with wedding parties. I don't know.
You would be amazed.
No one could have really foreseen this because this is just a really stupid turn of events, but you get what I mean, you know? Like at this point I would literally say like, I don't want a wedding party. You guys are being stupid.
That's stupid.
Brother-in-law and mother-in-law chose to wring my name through the mud, calling me all sorts of names and turning my husband's family against me. That's when I called my sister and let her know she's in fact allowed to wear the 7-inch heels she's so truly loved as payback to my short brother-in-law for causing drama where it was unnecessary. Oh, wow. Why does it matter if she's next to a guy that's shorter than her when they aren't dating? Like, even if they were dating, it doesn't really matter, but like, why? Is it really that insecurity inducing? Tall women do exist, just FYI. Brother-in-law, none the wiser to this decision, showed up on the day of the wedding and got ready with the groomsmen, came out for pictures with the bridesmaid, and suddenly realized he was walking down the aisle with my sister and her pretty shiny heels who towered over him. Photos of that day. Learned a lot from Charlotte Dobre about how to get revenge by moving in the shadows. So are you the a-hole for allowing your 5'11" sister to wear 7-inch heels to my wedding? Why do you even have to ask that? I was definitely intrigued to find out more, but like, come on now. They had that much of a problem of the sister being taller than the brother-in-law? Really? Actually, it was they wanted to punish the sister who was the high school but seriously? And why was everyone else going, oh yeah, OP sucks because her sister is tall? It just sounds like this family is a bit much. No, you are not the a-hole. All right, we got one more little one for you guys.
Say hello to my little friend.
Would I be the a-hole if I called ahead to ask the bridal boutique to not let my sister-in-law try on wedding dresses at my appointment? Throwaway account for obvious reasons. All names are fake. I, 25 female, am worried that I might be a bridezilla. My soon-to-be sister-in-law, Brianna, is planning to use my appointment to try on dresses.
Wait, what?
Okay. She's already married, but did not have a big wedding. When I invited her to my appointment, she started talking about trying on dresses to convince her husband to renew their vows. Make your own appointment, dude. She said her mom, who was also coming to my appointment, could take pictures and send them to her husband. Now, I'm not someone who needs everything to be about me all the time. However, I would appreciate being the main focus of my own bridal appointment. Yeah, it's one thing if you're like, oh yeah, like try on a dress, like whatever, but like she just literally just made that decision for you.
No, don't like that.
Why can't she just make her own appointment? I'm sure you'd be happy to go support her. I don't want to have to maneuver around Brianna while trying on dresses for my big day and have everyone's attention split between the two of us. Yeah, no. This sounds super messy and weird.
Solid
and logistically kind of
and
difficult
twine.
as well. Like, imagine you're kind of like sharing the mirror, and she like wants like her turn to like go and stand in front of the mirror and try on the shoes, and like you have to switch. No, like the fact that she even thinks that this is okay is a little weird. It's one thing if you offer and say, you know, by all means try on a dress, but it's an entirely different thing for her to assume that it's okay to try on wedding dresses at your wedding dress appointment. Besides that, I invited Brianna because I wanted her to be present on such an exciting day, and she won't be if she's focusing on her own dresses. That part too. Like, you're inviting her because you also want her opinion on your dresses. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand Brianna wanting to try on dresses and renew her vows, but I feel like she should schedule her own appointment. You'd be correct about that. I only get an hour with my bridal consultant, and I don't want any of it wasted on finding dresses for Brianna to try on. I'm a very non-confrontational person, so I'm considering calling ahead and asking the boutique if they could shut Brianna down for me if she actually tries to use my appointment for herself. My friend and my sister both said I should call ahead, but I'm conflicted. So, would I be the a-hole if I called the bridal boutique to ask them to handle my sister-in-law if she tries to make my appointment about her? I mean, you could, like, you're not the a-hole if you do that. I just feel like this is an issue that's gonna keep happening. Like, you kind of need to, like, put your foot down a little bit with this person.
Tell her that.
You could just kind of, like, make a joke about it, you know? Just point it out. Just be like, oh, so, like, sorry, are you trying to make my bridal appointment about you? And just say, like, listen, would love to support you. Would love to attend a fitting of your own. I really value your opinion, and I want you to attend my dress appointment fully present and focused on me.
Got that?
Is that like a little bit, but that's okay. You are not a bridezilla by asking the appointment, since it's only an hour, be focused on you and not splitting time between a self-centered sister-in-law. Especially since the time would be split with someone already married. Yeah, I don't understand why. No, she's trying to make it about her, honestly. It's a little attention-seeking.
I know people think that I just say things to be shocking.
Good Lord, I'd be laughing so hard at this attention me behavior at someone else's dress appointment. Some well-meaning friend needs to shut that diva-like attitude down with a bug in her ear. Note, I might be slightly more confrontational about boundaries than OP. And to be honest, most shops would not allow it. They book appointments for a reason. So they have a room and an assistant for the bride and the bride only. It's not TJ Maxx. It's not really one of those things where there's just like a bunch of fitting rooms. I have been to wedding dress appointments that are like that, but most of them are like one room with chairs, one fitting room, and only space for one person to change at a time. And then maybe the assistants to go back there and help. So there ain't space for this person. And like, why the need to try on wedding dresses when she's already married? That's super weird. No, this is attention-seeking behavior for sure.
If you keep screaming your name, it forces the assailant to acknowledge you as a human.
And I do kind of think that, like, you can ask someone else to do it for you, but, like, I also think that you should put your foot down and set a boundary, because this is a little not so. Call ahead. It's an appointment. You don't share it. Either she dominates your appointment, or you put your foot down now, and it doesn't continue through the rest of the planning. I agree. This, OP, you have to stop this people-pleasing behavior now. I agree. Remaining silent or avoiding having these uncomfortable conversations with your future sister-in-law and mother-in-law to keep the peace never truly keeps the peace. You're essentially, like, letting them sort of walk all over you. I genuinely do think that you need to say something. So, no, you would not be the a-hole, but you're kind of being an a-hole to yourself by not setting a boundary. I'm just saying that. Siskat!
Boop. What were we at? Oh, watch some BJ. Something about Megan Thee Stallion or some shit.
Welcome into my world. Way through the Diddy trial on, I was pretty much watching, I'd say 80% of the videos he was putting out on it. So hold on, I have to fix something in the back end. I don't have my subscriber only mode on, which is...
I need onions.
Interesting, because I feel like I remember turning it on.
Garlic. Olives.
Okay. So,
cabbages, tuna.
I do not exactly remember where we left off in the coverage the last video I made, the last live stream I made on like covering the day-by-day stuff. So yeah, and Christina's saying, well, we know Blake Lively doesn't think content creators are media, and it's a huge question that keeps coming up over and over. And also just and again, we're going to talk about this later, we're going to talk about this at the second half of the video, but just in general, for the purposes of one law or one statute or whatever, some particular entity or person may be media, but for purposes of another different statute or a different state, they may not. The same outlet, for example, like let's say it's me, my channel, or Milagro Cooper's channel, or DJ Academics' channel. So like let's say like in some circumstance they might be doing performing a media function in that one video, and so maybe elsewhere the person is like saying something that's obviously their opinion or whatever, and they're not performing a media function. So it does get a bit nuanced, and zooming out just a little bit to remind you what Milagro is actually being sued for, and that is, first, in no particular order, but we'll just start here, defamation, which is the dissemination or publication of a false statement of fact to a third party or to an audience, and in particular with the fact that she's talking about public figures, it would have to also include what's called actual malice. So distribution of a false statement of fact to a third party, or publication of a false statement of fact to a third party or to an audience, which Milagro knows or has very strong reason to know.
Figured it out. Vinegar.
Isn't true. Okay. So that's why I say facts ain't defamation. It has to be a false statement. That's why I say questions aren't defamation. That's not a statement. A question doesn't have the ability or propensity to be able to be true or false. A question cannot be true or false. A question is not true or false. In order for something to have the ability to be provable, true or false, it has to be provable, right? To be true or false, it has to be provable, true or false somehow. So a belief can't, I mean, you can do a lie detector test, but those don't hold up in court. Really, you don't have any way to know if somebody's, belief is true or false. But that also gives you some protection under the First Amendment, because you're saying, everybody in the chat right now, put a 1 in the chat if you know that a question can't be true or false. Only a statement. So sometimes content creators can be performing a media function, sometimes not. But regardless of the statutes which contemplate media functions, at the end of the day, a content creator is usually one individual. Sometimes there's a podcast, a few individual human beings, people, sitting up here, and yep, they got plants, and yes, they have agent provocateurs, and yes, they have all that. However, what most reasonable viewers would believe is that a content creator such as Milagro Cooper, such as me, such as DJ Academics, although of course we all have different propensity, whatever, but just like these are content creators, a wide net. Most people would believe that we're saying our own opinions. There's certainly niche communities on the internet that would be like, no, we know that a lot of those people, and I don't think any of these three are being paid. Like, I truly don't believe that DJ Academics is being paid and not disclosing it like he's said before, like he was. But you know what? I guess I don't even really watch him, so let me not even come to like a rush for his defense. But I personally, like, because I'm not a viewer of his content, regular viewer, I'll watch, if he interviews Kanye or something happens over there.
Don't buy the marshmallow mix from Oksha unless you're ready to get stuck all day long by people asking what perfume you're wearing.
The most recent time I think I went over there specifically to his content before all of this Milagro case was for him to be telling me to shut up during one of his live streams. Anyway, so maybe he is. I don't really know. He's not getting sued though at this point, by Megan the Stallion. But whether or not someone's a media personality for purposes of the statute is irrelevant, is my point, to what the audience or the third party you're uttering the supposedly defamatory statement to would reasonably believe. And I think reasonably a third party would believe you're getting from a content creator, a viewer of a channel is going to believe that this content creator is saying their opinions and their speculations and beliefs based on the things they're showing us. Now, of course, sometimes there's people talking about, I got a private source, I can't tell you what my exclusive source is. These are all exceptions, but like generally YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that is considered under the federal defamation jurisprudence that I have been exposed to be more opinion based. There's kind of a presumption if you're saying it on an Instagram live, it's not the same thing as reading, as you know, you're watching somebody's Instagram live. That's not the same thing as the New York Times reporting on it. And somewhere in the middle of that is like TMZ reporting on it. And so it's just kind of this like spectrum of things, which courts have to take into consideration. So I don't exactly remember, like I said, where I left off in the chronological order or whatever of the coverage. So what we're gonna do, okay, so it started on Monday. Monday was day 1. Of course, Tuesday would be day 2, etc., etc. And so Friday was day 5. I know for sure I didn't cover day 5, and I don't know how much of day 4 I covered either. So we'll just start.
I can put pineapple on the pizza.
Okay, so this is November 20th. That would have been 3 days ago. I think this is day 4, November 20th. So we'll start with Megan Cuniff's article because it's really the closest thing we have to being able to like read. You know what I really liked in the Diddy coverage is like they would have news sources like the New York Times and ABC and Fox News, this and that and whatever. They would have like news sources inside the courtroom, and they would be like basically live tweeting updates like within an hour or so of what was going on in the courtroom. And so it kind of was like nice to be able to read all those different sources, even though I don't like fully take any of them that much particularly more seriously than the next. All of them end up, you know, having, even if it's just like oopsie daisy, you know, you just have to, it's really nice to be able to compare. Because it's like if one of them got it wrong, if one of them got a typo, if one of them's paid off, if one of them's a shill, whatever you want to do. They got hacked and somebody got in there. Whatever you want to say, there was like all these sources that you could kind of like in real time compare. Like certainly within a couple hours you could compare all the different sources saying the different things. And it was really cool because sometimes we were able to, you know, each individual person watching and me myself as I was doing the live, like form my own opinion based on all these sources. And so I learned that was valuable there. I always kind of knew that was valuable, but it reinforced that. And now I'm liking to do that here as well. I've been watching the videos of everyone who is known to me that I know of who's been at the trial. And, you know, I will say some...
Oh, I need to plant more daikons.
Some content creators focus on things that maybe I wouldn't choose to focus on. Some of their stories don't end up kind of like clicking in with the other ones and stuff like that. But from, you know, from where I sit over here, I'm not over there. I'm not willing to go over there and sit there all day to find out myself. So thank you to everybody that is going over there. Shout out to them for being in the court all day. And, you know, I don't have any problems with it. I mean, the reason I'm saying this like this is like very, very, it's unusual, or I shouldn't say unusual. That would imply I knew what usual was, but like it's unexpected to me how there's always some drama, somehow some drama or some attempted drama with like the social media personalities who go to and attend these trials. And as a content creator myself who covers some of the same topics or whatever, I sometimes feel pressured or pushed into like publicly like dissing or publicly taking a stand against someone or not reading someone's stuff that was in the courtroom because they have in the past done something or gotten into a beef with someone else, and you can't like that person and that person at the same time. Like, and I'm like I'm a grown woman. Like, this is like, I'm a grown up, and I certainly have no problem telling people, don't tell me what to do. But like, there's this weird kind of like, you know, not trying to make anybody upset thing or people pleasing thing. I'm not trying to cause drama. I don't want to be in drama. I personally would like the least amount of conflict, especially with people who are doing the same type of work as me. I think we're often working toward the same type of goals and we have the same values. So I don't want to be in fighting with people and stuff. But I will say, just to let y'all know, you know, there's been drama again at the court.
Yeah, I don't have extra onions.
And I'm calling it drama. I'm sure the people involved might not consider it that. They might consider it something else. But like, I'm just calling it that because it's like a whole sideshow of like things to worry about.
Most readers look like you got them from the drugstore in 1997. That's why I love
and be concerned with. So it's hard to like piece that apart whenever the person's live stream like updating about the cross-examination also is just like intertwined with like the drama, and it's like, you know, is it agent provocateurs, is it, you know, Rock Nation investigators that are purposely starting fights with people? Who knows, girl? I mean, who knows? But I'm just letting y'all know again, like, I'm just doing my best to cover the case. It's interesting to me. I think it affects me personally in a lot of ways, or personal interest in it. It's definitely not the type of case that's getting the clicks and the views. I mean, I was live earlier talking about the David case, which I'm also very interested in. Had 1,500 people or so, maybe more, 1,600. There was like definitely over 1,000 people in the chat. And right now, I mean, we have 340. So it's not this Milagro, Tory Lanez, Meg the Stallion, like, cases thing is not getting, I'm not doing it for clicks and clout and views, because clearly it's not getting them. But that's not the purpose of covering this case for me. And I want to tell y'all what my purpose is, because there is some side drama going on with, you know, is so-and-so a plant? Is so-and-so getting paid to cover stuff? I am not getting paid to cover any cases other than what y'all see donated in the chats. You know what I mean? Like, I have no deals with anybody to cover things. I have been approached time and again to cover things on this channel that y'all will never hear about because I didn't want to. So I'm not getting paid. I have not been paid to cover things. I don't even I've never taken a sponsor on this channel. So it's just, and I don't do that to like prove a point. I just don't. I feel something feels gross and icky to me about selling an online game to y'all. Or any subscription for anything. Now, if a company, a sponsor approaches me in the future, and for some reason I feel differently about it, then y'all will hear about it. But until then, I haven't yet been approached with anything that I truly feel comfortable to, you know, have a sponsored whatever on this channel.
Holy
okay,
donk.
so
I need 10 gold bars.
I get paid from ads. I get paid from super chats and memberships. Shout out to members in the chat, and all that. So The Life of Samad said, surprisingly, the commentators I anticipated to be biased have been remarkably neutral, and I am delighted. Yeah, I mean, I am biased, but I do try to be neutral. Also, another reason this case like affects me personally is because like it's a defamation case against a YouTuber after all. Like, no matter what, even if the cases are super different, like this case can and will be cited the same way that the Cardi B case against Tasha K was cited within this case from now on forevermore.
Jumbo
the
sack.
Milagro case, even if she wins on all 3 counts, by the way. Because there's been other decisions made along the way, and this has set a precedent, because especially with that cyber deep fake altered image AI
Solid.
you know what thing.
Solid and silver.
That's a brand new law. So the First Amendment is not brand new. She been here. She like she's like the first president of here. Okay, so the First Amendment is very, very well thoroughly litigated. There's like a case about everything with the First Amendment, because it's been around for a long time. It's really important. It's about free speech. But then this deep fake AI thing is a brand new law in Florida. If you share a digitally altered image or promote a digitally altered image of somebody, deep fake, corn, Yeah, I see what you're saying, Meg. I want to finish this thought, but yeah, I do see what you're saying. So that's brand new. That law's brand new. They just did that. And I'm not even saying it's a bad law. Like, I truly have put myself in Meg Thee Stallion's position in my mind to the best I can. Of course, I can't be in her position. I have no idea what it feels like to be her. But if I'm imagining, trying to imagine being in her position, and it was one of my ops, and they were like, yeah, there's, I don't want to talk about it, but go look at my likes. And then that sent people over there to look at it. Please listen to what I'm actually saying, and y'all try not to do this Stan knee-jerk thing. Just listen to my actual words. If I were in Meg's position and somebody had said, go look at my likes, and even just 3 or 5 people went to the likes and saw a deep fake image of me in such a position or whatever. I didn't see the deep fake video, by the way, and I didn't see a screenshot of it. I don't want to. Please nobody send it to me. Please nobody send it anywhere. I think it might be a crime in the state of Florida. And I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But if I'm in a position, if I'm sitting here and somebody's like, yeah, go look at my likes, and a few people went and saw it, I could see being aggravated and disgusted by that. Like, why are you telling people to go look? That is nasty. However, okay, that's where I can see it from Meg's side. Where I can see or have some sympathy for Milagro's position here, though, is... Okay, wait, you mean to tell me that there's a law, just got enacted by the state, that makes it to where you can't even comment and tell other people about a supposed whatever it is, but it's public, it's on Twitter in link form, and it's on another website. It's a publicly available video at this point. So you mean to tell me that if I'm in Milagro's position, I'll be like, you mean to tell me that I can't comment on something public? What do you mean? That doesn't even seem like a law should be able to exist like that. If I had unlimited money and I'm Milagro, I'm taking it to the Supreme Court on First Amendment grounds. I'm saying that the Florida statute contradicts the United States Constitution, Supremacy Clause, that makes the United States Constitution the highest law of the land. No state shall pass a law. No state shall pass a law which takes away our rights under the United States Constitution.
The honey.
So I'd say, yeah, I mean, I understand hurt feelings, but that's public.
Honey shaker.
That's public. They made it public. Maybe go after Twitter for allowing obscene content to be linked on their Twitter. Maybe, but then you have run into the DMCA. However, well, Miss Certified Right, I think that she has conceded, aka admitted.
I almost didn't buy this NFL wallet, but when Black Friday hit and it was up to 42% off, I finally...
That she was talking about go look at that like. I think she's conceded this fact. I see what you're arguing. I see what you're doing. But that being said, where does the responsibility properly lie? And does it, Megan Thee Stallion has a right to privacy and a right to not having deep fake, videos made about her and people told to go look at the video. She has a right to, quiet enjoyment of, not having all that out there like that. But at the same time, does someone have a right to make a deep fake corn video? If that person doesn't, then why aren't they being sued? These are things to think about. I don't know. Really, I'm phrasing a lot of this as questions because I don't know. This is a brand new law. So remember, these are the 3 things. These are 3 things that need to be, each of them have their own elements, and we're gonna, sit down, relax, hope that y'all, don't have too much to do this afternoon. We're gonna be here for a while, but, or you can come back and watch it. But we're gonna be getting a little bit into the legal, or at least my understanding of the legal elements, the statutory elements that are making up what Meg Thee Stallion actually has to prove. Because a lot of the talking online is feelings. I don't feel like she defamed. I feel like she defamed. I don't feel like that was proven. Well, I'm going to hopefully in this video try to give a little bit of framework to the feelings and see if the feelings can be, sometimes people have really good legal instincts and the feelings is right. But sometimes you might feel like something's outrageous, but under the law, it has been shown that it's not outrageous under the law. And remember, as we're going through this, and just every time that there's a lawsuit going on between people, just remember, what we call things out here on the street, that's like a colloquial or a street definition. You know, street definitions for words, just regular folk, just us out here. What do we mean when we say media defendant? There's like a sort of what I feel like it could mean, you know? But then there's like actually like legal precedent that has been set, which has defined under law, capital M, media, capital D, defendant. So in these cases, we have to look to the legal definition. It's not feelings. It's not guessing. Now, of course, there's always an element of guessing because you never know what the judge is going to find to be specific or unique about this case that hasn't been seen in the past. So there's always room for stuff to be decided at this level in a way that's like, yeah, that applied to her and her and her, but it doesn't apply to Meg Thee Stallion, and this is why. And then, you know, appeals cases are born. Okay, people are saying they don't know if she conceded it. Okay, so just, as I said, I don't know if she did concede it or not. I also haven't seen the transcripts. I don't have a lot of play-by-play, word-for-word of what's been going on in this case. So I can't really answer specifically to, like, these little specific, like, I don't know if the lawyer brought this stuff up, stuff like that, as far as, go to my likes. She wasn't talking about that specific like. Maybe they're going to argue that on the stand. Maybe that's one of the questions that Milagro's lawyer is going to ask her when he brings her back up on the stand, because now Milagro gets to come back up, because this has all been Megan Thee Stallion's team making her case. Now Milagro gets to make her case. Now I don't even think Megan Thee Stallion's done, so they're still making their case. Okay, so let's start with the day 4 coverage from Megan Cuniff. Okay. Jury hears, and we are going to talk about, also have some notes and stuff written from the YouTubers who were there, the bloggers. I don't know what they like to be called. I'm going to say YouTubers, people that's making YouTube videos. I have notes and stuff from them too. So we're going to read this, and then we'll go supplement it with what I heard from the other videos. So we'll be doing like the compare contrast across the way. Jury hears Megan Thee Stallion's assailant, Tory Lanez, discuss sued streamer's legal defense. Jurors also hear testimony Wednesday from Rock Nation. Okay, so this was from day 3. So I don't even think we read this. Maybe we did. I'll skim through it. We'll see. Jurors also heard testimony Wednesday from a Rock Nation executive and from a renowned psychologist who said Meg's post-traumatic... Wait, didn't she write another one since here? Post-traumatic stress disorder. There's Meg Thee Stallion. They played the call with Caesar McDowell, who was from Unite the People. Why are you telling him about the press release? I don't remember. Okay, yeah, so this is the Caesar guy, and he was acting kind of belligerent. I mean, combative. Every single answer that he said was, I don't know, or I don't remember, I don't recall. Just seemingly like really in no way helping or even trying to help Milagro. Now, I do recall that Caesar McDowell, this guy right here,
I'm gonna get the other
and Milagro
dude.
have like their own
There's a Billy
history.
goat out there.
He was also
I'm gonna
helping
get
to represent Milagro. He was apparently also at some point helping to represent
There's a horse too, and I guess
Tory
I could get the
Lanez
horse.
in the
But I don't
criminal
want
case. Then there was a lawyer who was kind of working with him who split off and now
I'm
is
gonna go get the
representing
Billy
Tory Lanez.
goat.
It's kind of a lot of that, you know, or whatever, but that
there's
that
another
brought me
moo
to like
cow,
wanting to
but it doesn't
discuss
give you
the
chocolate milk.
way that people were acting. I just want to talk about how people were acting in their depositions. Okay, like
an Alpen goat.
I too,
and it
was
makes
giggling
delicious
and laughing
goat milk.
at how
Oh,
DJ
okay.
Academics handled the Quinn Emanuel lawyers.
Wait, I
in
already
his
have a goat.
deposition. I was
Why do I
laughing.
want another goat? I don't want 2 goats.
But he was kind of like, you know, sassy and whatever. And I'm starting with him because he was like the least of the concerns. He actually wasn't so bad. in comparison to the rest. Now, what I will say too is I read Tory Lane's transcripts from the Tory Lane's depositions in this case, 2 of them, 2 of the 3. And I want to say, I thought that was funny too. I thought it was funny. I thought it was like, haha, he's finally getting to get his, you know, he's finally able to get his side of things in straight to the people who are responsible for, you know, in his mind, responsible for certain grievances he may have with his life. I'm being vague on purpose. And so it kind of felt like, in a way, this moment of justice, like, like he's telling him, I don't care, I got money, and I'm sitting in here for 10 years anyway. Asking the judge, okay, so what, just tell me what you're gonna do. Like, if I don't answer these questions, what can you do? Would put me in jail? Okay, because I'm not going, you know, so in a way it felt kind of like justice. But like, you know, me, I can't really separate thinking of the other side of things. And also I have been sued for defamation, and mine I won. She's unappealed it. We in the appeals court, you know, briefings now, but I won time and time again on First Amendment grounds, because I wasn't saying any false statement of fact as if it were true. I was saying opinions, I was saying beliefs, I was saying theories, and the stuff I was saying as a statement of fact, I would show where I got the information from. I would put all these disclaimers. So thank God, you know, I'm winning. However, there's been years of my life, years of my adult life, a large portion of my adult life, and all embroiled in a lawsuit in which the other side is putting false statements about me in it. I'm having to come up with money, donate to the legal fund if you're so inclined, to pay the lawyers. It's just been a freaking nightmare. So I'm always thinking about things from that side too. And one of the things that started happening very early on in my YouTube, you know, come up, as I was getting sued, friends stopped calling. You become very isolated. People are understandably terrified to be dragged into the lawsuit themselves. Who wants to have to get a lawyer to oppose a deposition? Who wants to get a lawyer to oppose having Rock Nation take your phone and go through your text? You gotta have a lawyer now. You're getting dragged in. And this is something that abusers who abuse lawfare in particular, and I'm not saying Rock Nation does, but I ain't saying they don't. I don't know. It's my opinion and belief that the people who have been doing this to me have been abusing me with lawfare. That's my opinion. That's just my strong belief. So I couldn't help when I'm watching, you know, like Caesar McDowell's deposition, or even kind of like when I'm reading Tory Lanez's deposition transcripts, and I'm hearing about his dad, you know, Sunstar Peterson, Tory Lanez's dad. He also was deposed for this case. It wasn't like they were deposed for something else, and then, no, they were deposed for this case. And he started the deposition, Sunstar Peterson, with, you know, speaking in tongues and stuff like that. And yet again, and to me, that's very endearing. I'm like, yes, oh my God, thank God. Something real, interesting, and a little bit entertaining. I mean, he was like, watching the Armand Wiggins reenactment of the Sunstar Peterson deposition. But again, I can't help but put myself in somewhat of a way in Milagros' shoes too. And it's like, oh my God, why are we here? Remember why we're here? Because Milagro was saying certain statements pertaining to Megan Thee Stallion didn't like, with reference to the Tory Lanez criminal trial. So Tory Lanez was being, and has now been, convicted. He was going through a trial that Milagro just saw. And as a content creator and as a commentary person, she didn't even believe Tory Lanez's side at first. she, according to her, in the public discourse, she believed Meg Thee Stallion, as did I, because I wasn't really following it. I think I was like just taking the bar or something at the time this was blowing up in 2020. So like I just saw the headlines and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, he must have done it or whatever. And then he was found guilty, so I was just like, okay, he must have, yeah, 100%, like, ew, locked him up, whatever, abuser, ew. So Milagro was like, it wasn't until she actually started going to the trial, she saw people on the stand, she started looking into stuff herself, and she said she just didn't believe Meg Thee Stallion and Meg Thee Stallion's version of events. Now this is after Meg Thee Stallion herself changed her story about a few things. You know, did she have relations with Tory Lanez? You know, at first she said no, and then she changed the story to yes. So is it yes? Is it no? She at first said she wasn't pewed, and then she changed the story to she was pewed. So it's like, well, then why didn't you come up with the full story at the beginning? You know, so these things and other things just sort of led into Milagro not believing Meg Thee Stallion. So she also said,
All right, bye
Milagro
TikTok.
also said
I'm gonna be done.
that it touched her, you know, specifically because this was another, in her opinion, instance of a black man being railroaded by the American legal system, or the, what is it called, the criminal justice system. And she was like, they're, you know, focusing on the things that she found to be issues and the credibility issues, and what she would focus on. She would say, it's the DNA. She would focus on, she's like, there's no DNA. They said there was no DNA on the pew. They didn't take DNA, and they come to find out they did. What about the stepping on the glass, right? She would point to, well, Megan lied, and that's what she would say, and that was her opinion, Milagro's opinion. So these are precisely the things that Milagro's getting sued over. The DNA on the gun. Saying that Megan had a drinking problem. You know, like things that call into question Meg's credibility in the Tory Lanez criminal trial is exactly what Milagro focused on, because that's exactly what made her form her opinion. Well, Meg Thee Stallion, you know, sued her for it. So that's all to say, Milagro really put her behind on the line. She put her neck out for Tory Lanez, who, from what I understand, was pretty much a complete stranger. Like, she didn't know him at the time she started covering the case. And again, she would say she was not even like on his side and thought he was guilty or whatever. And while I totally understand why Tory Lanez would want to get his lick back and not cooperate with these freaking Quinn Emanuel, they've been in so much of his business. They've been in so much of his. In his mind, he probably thinks they ruined his life at the moment and stuff like that. So while I'm absolutely sympathetic to that, and I can never know fully, you know, what it feels like to be in his position, all I can do is imagine, which is what I'm doing now. I can imagine being in Milagro's position too, because I've put my neck on the line for people. And thankfully, I've never been in a position to kind of like, you know, watch them be subpoenaed in my case and then, you know, behave how Tory Lanez did, because it wasn't just the image of Tory Lanez. It wasn't just like, oh, that's not gonna look good. No. It had a real serious legal consequence on Milagro. Actually, it hurt her. And that was from the adverse jury instruction. And it's really extra bad, which is no fault of Tory Lanez, to be clear, but it's extra bad because Milagro already had an adverse jury instruction. And so it's like, this has been an uphill battle for her since the moment that these powerful lawyers took the case on. And I can imagine, as much sympathy as I have for, you know, I see all the sides, as much sympathy as I have for the Tory Lanez aspect of things, to the extent I can imagine it, but I can also imagine it was like painful and it felt like a betrayal for Milagro to have done so much for the case, and to have, I mean, from what I heard, and again, y'all, this is me reconstructing years later. I was not following the case as it went on, so I could be wrong. I could have got wrong information, but from what I heard, nobody at all was like Tori didn't do anything until Milagro really started carrying that narrative. And the theory amongst some niches of the internet, which is just a theory, but the theory is that they wanted to take Milagro out because of what Milagro represented. This idea that Tori is innocent. Without her, and you know, in this theory, without her, if we take her credibility or if we just scare people from following in her footsteps, then we don't have this like free Tory narrative. This, you know, we can just continue on with what we're doing. Now, of course, I have no idea to know if that's true, if that's false. That could be a bot theory from the internet. But, you know, these are just things that cross my mind. I just feel like, you know, this right here, like she doesn't need another uphill battle. There's already Caesar, you know, and it was testified to that Sunstar Peterson was like a father figure to Milagro and that she saw him as such. And I can't imagine the feeling of betrayal, your father figure, you know, maybe not fully putting every bit of his best foot forward in your trial deposition. And again, like I said, I started this all out by saying I do understand. I do understand. And in some ways even feel a little bit like, haha, like justice almost, that they're just able to just be like, to these lawyers. But at the same time, like, Milagro is left holding the bag. Milagro's life has been turned upside down just as much for putting her neck out on the line for something. She didn't have to. She didn't have to. But, you know, I'm biased there because I do that. You know, I've done that many times. So sometimes people that's dead, that's never going to be able to help me. But it's a step further that it's like, it actually did in a real legal way hurt her. Because she will have that adverse jury inference on the questions that Tory Lanez did not answer. And they were pretty easy questions to answer. How did you meet her? When did you first meet her? You know, so again, I don't know anything. I haven't been in that trial. I don't even have the transcripts. There might be all kind of stuff going on in the back end that I'm not privy to. But all I can do is comment on the publicly available information. He didn't remember. Legal fees, don't remember. Let me see. Megan's friend testified about $240,000 in therapy. That was the friend and roommate. What was his name? Travis Ferris. He learned of Milagro shortly after Megan went. Oh wait. After McDowell's deposition, Megan's friend and roommate, Travis Ferris, testified in person about how social media vitriol has affected her. He wasn't there when Megan was pew-pewed, but he went to where they were stopped by the police and was told that she was taken to a hospital. He said Megan didn't immediately say Tory Lanez had pew-pewed her because she was trying to save everybody in the car that night. He went with Megan to Tampa Bay, Florida after the pew-pew to try to, quote, recover. He'd fish in the bay from the backyard and talk with Megan about trying to get past the stress that she was dealing with at the time. He said he learned of Milagro shortly after Meg was pew-pewed from people sending him her post. So Travis Ferris said he learned about it after the pew-pew. He learned about Milagro and people were sending her post to him. Jurors saw a recording from August 2022 that began with Milagro saying, Megan, you come from a line of alcoholics. Oh. Ferris said that she, must mean he, shared the recording with Meg. And she was sad, upset, didn't want to talk to Ferris about it. Didn't want to do anything, just wanted to be in her room. Jurors then saw a text from Megan sent to Ferris on August 30th, 2022. Quote, nobody gives me grace and understanding. I've been pew-pewed, but somehow everyone else is a victim, and I'm under consistent attack and ridicule. She mentions people on the internet and people in her real life. Okay, so remember, she had said she has all these damages and all this pain and all this trauma specifically and only because of Milagro. Not because of anything else, not because of anybody else. Nope, not Nicki Minaj, not Bigfoot, no. Just Milagro and her 40,000 followers, that's the reason. Well, look, here's a text message right here. Boom. She said people on the internet and people in her real life, but she just testified the other day. She don't know Milagro. She had written, and this is 3 years ago, August 2022, I feel like I'm always under attack. And then Ferris said, look what the Bible says about people who hate for no reason, and sent her Psalm 69:4. Megan asked Ferris in another text, do you think I should do the shows? Well, this to me shows that she did have the choice to do them or not. She said Milagro was the reason she didn't do her shows. Ferris said no. If it's not going to make you feel better. Okay, so now she's only doing things that make her feel better? Well, that's a far cry from she didn't take it because Milagro did something wrong or something. I mean, this is different. This is all kind of making
Did
it
you see
harder
that
to see
roly-poly?
that Milagro and her followers were the reason. Like, you mean she was just sitting there oh, is it going to make you feel better? Does it make anybody feel better to go to work in the morning? I'd say most likely not. Most often not. Ferris testified Wednesday the shows were canceled. And it wasn't the only time that happened. So she just didn't feel like doing the shows. If I'm a juror, that's probably what I'm going to consider that to be. And again, I wasn't in the room. I don't have the transcripts. I don't even know if this is, the order it happened in. I'm just reading from this article. This blog post. Ferris testified Wednesday the shows were canceled. None of my words or Bible verses worked. Well, maybe because Ferris also, remember, he testified he's the one that kept going up to her and showing her the stuff.
These reviews have taken over the internet, and if you don't have them yet, you are completely missing out. I'm breaking down exactly why OCHA is everywhere.
Jurors also saw a recording of Milagro discussing jury selection in the Tory Lanez trial, including an older black woman that looked like her was falling asleep, and I'm not going to say that, but y'all can read it. At least 2 old ass men. She also called a prosecutor a pretty Caucasian boy. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. One time I called my own self like a perfectly acceptable word to call yourself, and they acted like it was a slur. So now I'm just scared to say anything over here. But anyway, this guy looks like he's a kid. Okay, so she's just, they're playing a recording of Milagro talking about jury selection. Ferris said Megan heard the recording during trial. She couldn't understand what this was about. We couldn't understand what this was about. Like, what was the purpose of talking about the jurors? Well, because we want to know. I tell you that. I wasn't following this trial.
It's fucking closed on
But
Tuesdays.
I was just telling Armand Wiggins this morning. I went into his spaces that he was having, and one of the things I told him was, I want to know. I want to know what they doing in the jury. Are they yawning? Are they falling asleep? One of them was on their phone the other day, according to reports. I want to know. I want to know that information. That's why. If Meg Thee Stallion ever has occasion to watch my video, it's because the people want to know. It's public, and the public wants to know. That's why. What's the point of talking about the jurors? We want to know. I want to know. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know. Ferris also testified about telling Megan about the digitally altered, sexually explicit video. Remember, that's one of the counts. This new law from last year that Milagro, quote, promoted on social media and helping her get into a therapy center for depression. So in 1 month, I guess they can heal depression if you have $240,000. He said that Meg was there for a month, and I think he also testified he was there with her too. So maybe that's why it was so expensive. I don't know. I really don't know what this place was. They didn't mention like the name of it or anything, but it cost almost $250,000 for 1 month. In the cross-examination, Milagro's lawyer, Liza Pertet, questioned Ferris about his decision to show Meg derogatory social media posts about her. Yeah, that's what I want to know. If it's Milagro is the one making Megan not even want to no longer be walking around on Earth, why do you keep bringing posts up to her? Well, because I want to show her before somebody else. No one has access to her. You're the only one. What do you mean? Before somebody else? Why don't you just tell everybody, don't send me that? Did you ever at any point suggest to Miss Pete that she should remove herself from social media? Yes, Travis Ferris said, and she did. But you continued to show her posts that were coming in from social media regardless? He said yes. Ferris said he did so because she would eventually see it from someone else, and I'm able to be a little bit more comfort. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm not sold.
Sure.
The lawyer, this is Milagro's lawyer, also questioned Ferris about Megan's alcohol use. Ferris said that they drink not when they're sad, but when they're celebrating good things. So she only drinks when she's celebrating. Quote, is it your testimony today that Miss Pete has never struggled with alcoholism? Is that correct? He said, no, not alcoholism. Oh, well, I wonder what, Anyway, so Milagro's lawyer goes on and asks if Megan was treated for alcoholism at the $240,000 a month therapy center. Ferris said no. Milagro's lawyer asked if Ferris felt that $240,000 monthly cost was reasonable. Ferris said, no, I don't feel like it was reasonable, but I wanted to get Megan help because I, quote, realized that I'm not a therapist. Rock Nation executive testifies about Megan's lost deals. Jurors also heard testimony from an executive with Rock Nation, Megan's management company that's owned by Jay-Z, about 4 marketing deals that fell through amid Megan Thee Stallion's mounting depression. Daniel Kinney, Rock Nation's senior vice president of branding and strategic partnerships, testified Megan was set to be the first female in-game character. I'm pretty sure there's other female in-game characters. In Activision's Call of Duty game, which would include a series of skins and charms and catchphrases unique to Megan. This Rock Nation executive said Call of Duty is one of the holy grails in advertising, especially in entertainment, because so many entertainers legitimately love the game and play it all the time. He said the marketing value of the Call of Duty skin was worth many tens of millions of dollars to them.
I'm getting ready to go with my girlfriend. We're going to dinner. I'm at that age where I can't read the menu anymore.
The deal fell through when Megan realized her character was somebody that you could actually pew-pew in the game, and that triggered her. She full stop said, I'm not doing this. I'm not showing up tomorrow. I'm pulling out of this deal. Kenny, the Rock Nation executive, said. He also testified about a $1.4 million deal for Google Pixel phone that was to make Megan the face of a Super Bowl ad campaign that would promote her as a top celebrity who's very in demand. Okay, it would let everybody know. He's actually telling on himself. What was the Super Bowl commercial for? Well, it was to promote her as a top celebrity who's very in demand. We needed to let the people that watch the Super Bowl know that Megan Thee Stallion, we had to tell them because they didn't know that already. It's been a commercial to promote this idea. I don't know, y'all. I wasn't in there. Google was ready to send a jet to pick up. Remember this jet? Google was ready to send a jet to pick Megan up for filming, but the Rock Nation exec said Megan wasn't available, so they couldn't secure another date. Google basically said, if we can't shoot by this date, we're gonna move on. And because we couldn't be confirmed with them, they moved on. Okay, so y'all dragged your feet. Okay, got it. The Milagro wasn't there holding you down or anything. Got it, okay. Another deal involved Just Eat Takeaway, which owns Grubhub, and wanted Megan to create a song for them and star in a commercial that would air in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. He said the $2.6 million deal was an opportunity to build a profile in Europe. There are very few commercial opportunities that will give you that kind of placement on commercials and billboards in multiple countries. Jurors saw an email that a Just Eat representative sent to this Rock Nation executive, Kenny, asking about Megan's announcement that she was stepping back from music to heal. Okay, so it was an email from Just Eat to Kenny asking about Megan announcing. So she was announcing, I'm stepping back from music so I can heal. Just Eat was like, hold up. You got to deal with us. What do you mean you're stepping back from music so you can heal? No, we got a deal. You got to be doing music. That's part of the deal. So the Just Eat reached out to the Rock Nation exec, and he says, I think they were worried what it would mean for their campaign. That partnership did not proceed. The final opportunities that the Rock Nation executive discussed was with the U.S. Women's Soccer Federation for Megan to create their official anthem. The deal was for just $60,000 because the Soccer Federation is a nonprofit organization, but the exposure is global. The Rock Nation executive said the deal did not go through because Megan did not complete the song in a timely manner. So did Milagro come and show up and tell her not to do that? No, it was Travis Ferris showing Megan Thee Stallion these social media postings. If anything, I fail to see how Milagro caused this, truly, so far. Quote, I was being told she was not in a good headspace, the Rock Nation executive said. Renowned psychologist testifies, so now we're going to move on to this lady's testimony. The final witness on Thursday, so it was Thursday. Oh, so Megan Cuniff did both days together. Okay, good. So this is the final witness on Thursday, and the last day that they were at trial so far was Friday. This is Lenore Walker, her right here. Psychologist for 50 years and a pioneer researcher on abused women. Walker diagnosed Megan with post-traumatic stress disorder after meeting with her through video. Okay, so it was a Zoom meeting. She diagnosed her via Zoom, which is possible, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, please. I don't know. I'm just telling you what it says. Through video, so maybe not Zoom. It might have been another platform. And reviewed testimony from Tory Lane's trial, as well as hospital and therapy records. She, meaning the expert witness, this Lenore Walker, watched her documentary, Meg's documentary, and looked at a number of music videos to try to understand Megan's work and how this impacted her work. She also reviewed social media posts and recordings of Milagro. Walker testified on Wednesday, so the what's it called? Expert who actually diagnosed. She's like one of those, like, remember that lady that came, that Dr. Dawn Hughes, who came in the Diddy trial, and she also was in the Johnny Depp trial, and in the Johnny Depp trial with Amber Heard, she had diagnosed Amber Heard with something. So this is like one of those types of people or whatever. So this one right here, she actually diagnosed Meg Thee Stallion with PTSD. It was one trigger on top of another trigger. Oh, wait, hold on. She testified that one of the serious triggers for Megan is her belief that Tory Lanez was continuing to be angry and wanted to hurt her. She was her belief, right? Look at this part right here. This is going to become important. The lady testified that one of the serious triggers for Megan Thee Stallion is her belief. Her belief is going to become important. That Tory Lanez was continuing to be angry, wanting to hurt her, and was using Milagro to do that. It was one trigger on top of another trigger that was quite frightening to her. Okay, so Megan Thee Stallion believed that Tory Lanez was using Milagro Cooper as a mouthpiece. Lenore Walker also reviewed Tory Lanez cap video in which he's chopping an apparent horse leg in a butcher shop. And she saw the digitally created, sexually explicit video of Megan that Milagro promoted. There was a lot of keeping it going in the media and then telling her to get over it. Lenore Walker testified, the expert testified. She goes on, quote, Miss Pete said, okay, so just going off what Miss Pete said, so this isn't going off of any external evidence outside of just what Miss Pete said and believed. She would have loved to have gotten over it. It was that she wasn't able to do that. Well, I mean, I would wonder why she didn't sue T. Ferris. T. Ferris was the one showing her all this stuff. She said Megan's PT, and Milagro apparently blocked Megan Thee Stallion, so she would have had to be getting on some other person's stuff to see it, if that's true. If Milagro really did block her, I don't know. I didn't go check. She said Megan's PTSD, so this is the expert, said the PTSD originated from being pew-pewed and has merged with her trauma over cyberbullying. Importantly, Megan Thee Stallion did not sue for harassment or cyberbullying. That is not one of the statutes. The harassment statute, she did not sue for harassment. Now, I just want to put it out here right here. It's November 23rd, 2025, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I do want to say, I believe at the end of this case, Megan Thee Stallion, regardless who wins, who loses, is going to file for a restraining order in perhaps Florida. She's going to, because why do I think that's this? First of all, she already did it in the Tory Lanez case. That was a criminal case. But what did Megan Thee Stallion do after the criminal case with Tory Lanez? She went and got a restraining order. First of all. Second of all, this has happened to me before. I got served the defamation. I went through a whole year of fighting this defamation case, and mine got dismissed. This one right here we're looking at went to trial and everything. Depositions, mine got dismissed. So it's like a whole year of fighting it, and right as that one gets dismissed, the lunatic that just lost and continues to lose and lose and lose and lose filed for tried to get a restraining order against me in California, a completely different jurisdiction. The first one was in New Jersey where I live, the second, which was a defamation case, and then the other one. So I'm noticing a pattern. You know, it's like in that case she didn't win, but it's like as soon as the lawsuit's over, now they're using all the stuff from the lawsuit to go get a restraining order. And in the restraining order that was temporarily against me until we actually got to go to court and I won, you know, the heinous, I don't blame the judge for granting the restraining order because of the heinous lies that were in the restraining order. She was saying I was cyberbullying, all the same kind of stuff was going on. None of it was true. It was false. It was completely false. And also I won because it was my right to say those things. But I was able to argue in court, and this lasted over a year as well. Then she tried to get another one. When the other one got dismissed, she just kept trying to get them. Her sister tried to get one, got dismissed. Her buddy, Brian Kuchar, tried to get one, got dismissed. All the applications for these restraining orders are full of lies. So I was able to say no, and I also keep winning these cases, and I kept being able to show I keep winning, so I kept winning more and more and more. But if you lose on any of these counts, defamation, definitely disseminating a picture of a whatever that new law, and then intentional infliction of emotional distress, which I think Milagro's going to win on that. I think Milagro's going to win on intentional infliction of emotional distress. We can get into why I think that later. But the one that I don't know. I just a toss up, and the thing I think she's the most likely, if she's going to lose on any, is going to be this deep fake one, because it's just a new law. The jury gets to just decide, does this count as promotion, basically. I think that's what it looks like to me. Now, hold on, though, because right now, we're still in Act 1 of this live stream I'm doing right now. Because Milagro has pulled, or her lawyers have pulled, a cat out of the bag, or a rabbit out of the hat, or whatever, I don't know. Card from the deck. And I don't know, like, the euphemism I'm looking for. None of those are right. Pulled it. Had something up their sleeve. I don't know, whatever that is. That might get this whole thing dismissed. Now, I do think the judge is biased. Okay, look, that's just my opinion. I think the judge is biased. And Armand Wiggins has said the judge is biased too. And he's sitting in the court each day. So I'll get into that later. But we're only in Act 1 right now. We're still recapping what went on in court. Okay. So Jay Shishiri said, I just don't understand her end game. Milagro no longer speaks on her show. This won't change her bad public reputation. Well, here's the thing, Jay Shishiri, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I was like, that girl that tried to get the restraining order against me, which I won that case, and now she owes me money for sanctions. She got sanctioned over that, $10,000. She also owes me about 80-something thousand, or to my lawyers for anti-slap, for trying to impede upon my free speech. But
we just got some new information about Lumi. We just learned that Lumi.
Oh, it's that fucking lady that keeps telling me about her stanky bush. She was able to
basically lie.
Yeah, that lady's
false
gross.
Statements to the court to get this temporary restraining order that did make the judge order that I can't speak until we get to, trial, whatever, not trial, but like the next hearing. So I was gagged. And in a similar way, Milagro is gagged. There's a gag order in this case. Milagro is not allowed to speak about the case. So after the case is over, Milagro, the jurisdiction of this court is going to cease to exist for this gag order. No gag order can exist if this court has relinquished jurisdiction of the case by having a jury verdict. And so maybe this judge can order Milagro to not speak disparagingly about Milagro in the future, but usually that's not how it works. Usually that would be considered a prior restraint on speech, which is unconstitutional. Yes, maybe Milagro said something in the past, did something in the past, but y'all went to court, she was found liable, she owes you money, moving on. You can't tell an American citizen that they can't speak about a public figure in a long-term situation. That's a prior restraint. So in the Tasha K and Cardi B case, where Cardi B had sued a blogger. They ended up settling after they got a verdict from the jury, whatever it was, liable, not liable, you know, it was liable on some of the stuff. She got a monetary award, Cardi B, and then they did a settlement where Tasha K agreed voluntarily not to say certain things about Cardi B in the future, basically like to decrease. This is my understanding of things. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, maybe I understand it wrong, but this is what I understand. So you can agree in a settlement to not talk about somebody, but it's very difficult to get a court of law to say you cannot speak about this public figure ever again on your platform. And I do, especially like if it's opinions and stuff, it's a First Amendment violation. But I think, you know, I just want to put my prediction out there. I think Megan Thee Stallion is going to try to get a restraining order on Milagro to keep her in court for longer, to punish her more, and specifically is going to be doing it to try to make it to where Milagro cannot speak about her. That is what happened with Tory Lanez, from what I understand. He's still gagged because of this protective order, this restraining order, and I believe that is what is going to happen in this case. Anyway, all right, so back to this. Just recently, she told me it's still very hard for her to create, even though she does still go out and perform. Well, I could also imagine that there's other reasons. And if I'm Milagro's lawyer, I'm probably going to be like, wait, can we talk about other reasons why she might not be able to go out and perform? Like maybe her whole bit is titties out, butt out, shake, 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 twerk, 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 baddie, bougie, baddie, and maybe she's sick and tired of playing that character. Maybe put her some clothes on and let her create something else. I mean, she's been busting it wide open on stage, and you know, look, she's beautiful. She's a good-looking lady. I will definitely not be out here disparaging her looks. And maybe if I had it like that, I might be flaunting it like that too. But I can imagine as an adult, as a grown adult woman, like at some point you're kind of like, can I like allow like the public to see some other side of me besides, you know, I mean, she was crying about that on the stand in the criminal trial apparently. So I mean, it is apparently something she contemplates. Like everybody just sees me as this one thing, this like sexualized, hypersexualized caricature. It's true. They do see her like that. But like whenever you're wearing the Party City SpongeBob SquarePants suit at the presidential campaign rally, it does kind of start to paint a certain picture. And I'm not saying she shouldn't be allowed to express that side of herself. She absolutely is, and she has the right to do it. And if that makes her feel good and empowered, I could be wrong. But I bet she just doesn't want to create any more WAP-ified BS. I mean, WAP was 5 years ago. It's tired. Aren't we all a little tired of the WAP-ified, everything out? Like, aren't we all kind of moving forward? Like, isn't this a natural movement forward? Maybe that's why she can't create. I don't know. Like, there's other reasons. Like, if I'm her lawyer, I'm out there saying, like, are there other reasons? People are saying that's her fault. Sure. I mean, it's anybody's fault that signs a contract. You know, this is part of the 360 deal. As part of how it works, from what I understand. Okay, so Milagro's lawyer, cross-examined Walker. So Milagro's lawyer cross-examined the expert. I was about to say professional, but it's like that's not what I'm looking for. Expert. Lenore Walker. So on the cross-examination, the lawyer asked how much Walker's being paid. Hey lady, how much are you making? She said she's received in this case about $24,000. And she will be paid $5,000 a day, every day she shows up to court. Milagro's lawyer emphasized that the expert met with Megan Thee Stallion virtually from her office in South Florida. The psychiatrist said she observed Megan's body language. Milagro's lawyer said, okay, but you would agree it would be better to evaluate somebody in person versus on a computer, right? And the psychiatrist or the psychologist, whatever, she's like, not always. Sometimes yes, but sometimes no. She dismissed Megan Thee Stallion, so the expert dismissed Milagros' lawyer's suggestion that someone else might be in the room with Megan during it, because someone being quiet for that long is just hard for anybody to do. Okay, so probably somebody was in the room with her. Or could have been. I don't know. But the lawyer's like, was anybody in the room with Meg Thee Stallion? And she's like, I don't know, but I don't think so, because if somebody else was in there, I would have heard it, and I didn't hear anything, and anybody, it would have people would have a hard time to be quiet that long. So no, I think for that reason, no. Now, Milagros' lawyer asked if Megan selected the videos that the psychologist reviewed. The psychologist said, no, actually, some of my staff are young people, and they knew her videos, and it was my staff. They picked out several videos they wanted me to look at. For some reason, that's not like ringing as like something that's possible. But okay, fine, that's what she said. Milagros' lawyer also questioned Walker about Megan Thee Stallion's feud with Nicki Minaj to try to show that she had other problems that might be upsetting her. Do you know who Nicki Minaj is?
More silver.
The psychologist said, I saw her one time on television. I think I know who she is. Okay, so do you know that a diss track is a song that insults, disrespects, or verbally attacks another person? The psychologist said, no, I didn't know what a diss track was, no. Milagros' lawyers also asked about Megan's ex-boyfriend writing a diss track about her as well. And Lenore Walker, the psychologist, said she didn't know of that song. And she added, I wouldn't want anyone to interview my ex-boyfriends. Okay, so basically, the point of that was, I feel like Milagros' lawyers were trying to point out that Megan Thee Stallion had lots of things going on and lots of reasons that could have been making her feel depressed and stressed out. Yeah, maybe Milagro, but maybe other stuff too. And Milagros taking all the heat for all of it. And come to find out, maybe it was like other stuff going on, like a diss track by Nicki freaking Minaj. Okay, Thursday's testimony says Megan began testifying Thursday afternoon. Jurors also heard testimony from Milagros' former live stream moderator, Emil Holland Briggs, who began sobbing on the witness stand as he testified about his decision to quit amid mounting disagreement online and online vitriol over Milagros' approach. I'll have more in my next article. Well, the issue with that is there was no next article. As you can see, that was the most recent one. There was no more next article. So she didn't put one out for Friday. So, oh, interesting. They're saying that she testified for OJ. Okay, so now I want to talk about my notes that I took from watching other people's videos. I did link Armand Wiggins' video down below, so if y'all want to watch that, it is very entertaining and very informative. I do have a few notes from his video and his other videos in here, but obviously, you know, it's just a few notes. I also have some notes in here from Pam, Pam Esquire. So, okay. So on day 4, that was Thursday, former mod says Milagro would have her moderators, quote, dox other people, and she named some names, including Armand Wiggins and Tasha K. Milagro had someone reach out to Armand Wiggins, but then maybe they deleted the message or something like that. So that's the only thing I do have on the day 4. Now, I do have a bunch of notes for day 5. Okay, so I'm just going to go in this order that the notes are in. I don't, you know, they're not like any particular order, but like generally they go from chronologically earliest to latest. Megan's cross-examination was not as good on the second day as it was on the first day. So Thursday was the first day that Megan Thee Stallion took the stand, and she was...
So today, for a limited time, you can get 30 sticks for $36. Here are 3 reasons I know you're gonna love these meat sticks. Number 1 is the quality.
So from all accounts, she did a great job. She was bubbly, she was upbeat, she was optimistic, she was a little bit, there was a little banter, but it was like kind of charming. And she came across as somebody, and she also remembers she cried a lot that day. Unfortunately, I mean, it definitely sounds like a really sad situation. My heart does go out to her. She lost her grandmother, her great-grandmother rather, and her mom within a couple months of each other. And it was kind of like right as her career was taking off. Like she was like blowing up into the stratosphere, and her mother passed away in a tragic way. Like her mom was really smart and quick and good, and she just developed like a brain, I don't want to misspeak, but some type of, you know, situation with her brain. And it was like, she had like brain dead. She was brain dead. And Megan Thee Stallion had to make the decision to pull the plug, but like some of her last words before leaving this earth were like, stick with Keith Davis, like make sure you stick with him and you guys take care of her. So yeah, very sad. She talked about, you know, getting bullied for being you know, statuesque, as it were, and kind of reclaiming that by using the name Stallion. So she came across the first days very endearing, very good, upbeat, you know, like a good day for her on that direct examination. Whenever her own lawyer, you know, whenever her own lawyers were asking her questions. But then when it came time for the cross-examination, that's when Milagro's lawyers started to be able to ask their side of questions on Thursday. It was still a little bit,
and now
you know,
I gotta make a regular.
Good. Like she was still coming across as like endearing or charming or whatever. So from what the people inside the courtroom are saying, that is not how it was on Friday. She really let the mask slip or didn't, whatever, you know, like it wasn't coming across good is from what they reporting. So she came in apparently with her hair in a French roll, and she had ink pens in her hair, like stuck in there. And I'm like, you know what, since I'm doing fashion review, that's fine. I like that. That's okay. I get it. That's fine. You could, I would do that. Just, you know, a little pen moment. Cute. So that Thursday, she was very energetic and emotional. This is from Pam's video. Not as combative, but then on Friday, she was, quote, a little snippy. She was a little snippy. Armand similarly said that there were, quote, 2 versions of Megan Thee Stallion. The first day was the commercial version of Megan Thee Stallion. Again, that's from Armand's coverage. He said, but the real one is the entitled celebrity. This is Armand's opinion from the live. He said that she just had a justification on Friday. She had a justification for everything. And the only thing that made sense was the words coming out of her mouth. She could justify everything that she did, but when other people would do similar things, she couldn't justify or see where they were coming from. Like, for example, Armand gave that, you know, Megan allegedly, reportedly, was the one who went behind Kelsey, her friend Kelsey, her best friend's back. This is how it's been presented. She went behind her best friend's back to have relations with Tori, and then Kelsey, after the whole pew pew and everything incident, did go and meet with Tori. Well, Megan couldn't understand why that would happen. She felt betrayed. She felt betrayed by Kelsey, because Kelsey went to just to have a closure talk with Tory Lanez. But Kelsey, she didn't understand why Kelsey would feel betrayed by Megan. Megan's like, no, I don't understand why she would feel betrayed by me. No. So yeah, from like, put another way, she is the one who effed over Kelsey. She left. She left to go back to Texas or whatever. Or like she stayed in Texas or whatever. They separated. As soon as Kelsey wasn't with them anymore in the little trio group, then that's when Meg Thee Stallion had relations with Tori. So why can't, Armand's like, why can't Megan at least admit to her part and take some accountability? He said today, on Friday, he said that Meg came across aloof, entitled. She would just forget the answers to things, forget answers to things. Felt like he saw the real version of her on Friday, that second version. He said she was hypocritical. She came across like, I can do it and that's fine, but you can't do it too. And in comparison, in contrast with Milagro apparently was consistent across the board. Each time she was talking, no matter who she was talking to. Whereas Megan, it was like, yeah, when it was her lawyers, she was doing great and fine. But when it was Milagro's lawyers, that's when she started acting snippy, entitled, talking back to the lawyer, asking him questions, which obviously he's the one that asks the questions. And Milagro also came across as less combative than Megan. That's from Pam.
Just to tell this to anybody. Oh, it's that smelly bush lady again. Oh, no, wait. Some sort of cleaning bullshit.
So then there's also this other background issue of, in the meantime of all this stuff going on, whenever Megan was kind of switching to Rock Nation, she actually had already had a previous kind of like deal of some sort with a previous record label, Jay Prince and somebody Crawford. So that kind of comes up. So just to let y'all know, like she was with them and then she went with Rock Nation apparently, and there was some tension with trying to get out of that deal. Okay. The judge seemed biased, according to Armand, and he seems to have slightly, quote, picked a side with Megan Thee Stallion's team. He said Milagro's lawyer, like I said, it's being reported that Megan Thee Stallion was kind of being combative. She was kind of like talking over the lawyer, Milagro's lawyer, and he was kind of like not really controlling the deposition the cross-examination as much. Like he was kind of letting her get away with stuff. Like a lot of lawyers would be like, I asked the question or whatever. But when they were doing those back and forths, the judge actually, and this is according to Armand, the judge actually interjects and is like, counsel, you're not allowed to, you know that you're not supposed to talk over the witness or whatever. So the judge kind of joins in to protect Megan Thee Stallion on the stand, it seems. So another little point that I found to be interesting was that Megan Thee Stallion, and this is gonna become important when we get into Act 2 of this live stream, where we're gonna be talking about that filing that Milagro made that maybe could end up getting the whole case dismissed before it even goes to a jury. The judge seemed biased and has slightly picked a side. So Megan tried to say on the stand, Milagro was famous. Megan Thee Stallion just offhand is like, Milagro, you know, she's famous because of talking about me. And Milagro's lawyer apparently said, she's not famous. And Megan said, well, she's very well known. Like trying to say Milagro is famous for the sake of the defamation claim. This is according to Armand. Now, whether she's famous or not might end up being a little bit important as to whether she's media or not, right? I don't know. So the lawyer then asked Meg explicitly, do you know what defamation is? Do you know what defamation even is? And Meg said, yeah. And so Milagro's lawyer said, okay, cool, great. How did my client defame you, Megan Thee Stallion? Tell me how. Let's talk about it here on the stand today. She said, well, my mom is a thief. Okay, so what do we know about defamation? It has to be a false statement of fact. Okay, false. And Milagro's lawyer said, all right, well, didn't you just tell us yesterday that your mom had gotten in trouble because she had stole something from the Walmart? And didn't Milagro also say that she had court paperwork saying that your mom had been convicted of some type of thievery? So this was the lawyer trying to say, how could Milagro be defaming you if your mom is a thief? And also, what I would say is, Your Honor, Megan Thee Stallion doesn't have standing for defamation claim against her mother. Saying her mom is a thief has nothing to do with her. Why the mom suing? I mean, the mom, rest in peace, is no longer with us. But like, something being in bad taste is not the same thing as something being in defamation. So when asked by Milagro's lawyer, Megan Thee Stallion, was asked, why, how did my client defame you? How did my client defame you? And Megan Thee Stallion said, first of all, she called my mama a thief. Well, come to find out, the mama might have been a thief. There was, Megan even said it on the stand, her mom stole from the Walmart. So what does that mean, she's a thief or not? It's up to the jury to decide. Number two, well, how else did my client defame you? Megan Thee Stallion said, number two, she said I lied on the stand. Basically committed perjury, lied on the stand. Okay, well, let's talk about some of these on the stand lies. Let's talk about number one. Did you lie on the stand about whether you and Miss Kelsey Harris had gotten into a fight that night. That was one of the things that Milagro said she didn't believe. Remember, why did Milagro even say this stuff in the first place? According to her, it was because she was seeing stuff that made her not trust or believe Megan Thee Stallion's story. She looked at evidence, and according to what she believed, Megan wasn't credible. And this is exactly what a jury is allowed to do, by the way. A jury gets to hear all the evidence that it is presented with, and it gets to decide whether a person is credible or not. So in Milagro's opinion, Megan Thee Stallion's not credible, and she would give reasons to her audience. She would say, one of the reasons she lied on the stand is about the Kelsey getting in a fight. Look, there's a TMZ article that says they got in a fight. So I can't say they got in a fight. Megan Thee Stallion said on the stand they didn't get in a fight. And Milagro was like, well, TMZ said they did. Other people said they got in a fight. There's all these scratches and welts all over Kelsey. She's missing an acrylic nail. Her necklace got tore off and is left at the scene of where the alleged fight happened. Deshaun Kelly, the neighbor, said that the two women were fighting. So in Milagro's opinion, Megan is the one lying. And all this other evidence that disagrees with Megan is true. That's Milagro's opinion. Well, Megan is saying that's defamatory. That's defamation. She said, so that's when Milagro's lawyer tried to pull up the TMZ article that came out years before Milagro made her claim about the lying on the stand and the Kelsey and all that. But the judge would not let the TMZ article be used in court. That was another reason why I think Armand said the judge might be a little biased. Okay, so another thing that apparently, allegedly, Milagro said Megan Thee Stallion lied on the stand about is the nerve damage. You remember that I have nerve damage in my foot? Well, according to the doctor who examined her feet for nerve damage, in this report, there was no nerve, quote, involvement. So Milagro read that and heard the doctor testify that there was no nerve involvement. So that's two, right? There's the report from the doctor on the scene, and then there's the doctor testifying in court. I don't know if the same doctor or different, but it's two different pieces of evidence for court, right? There's the report, the medical evidence, and then there's the testimony of the doctor. So these are two different things. And Milagro said, okay, so the doctor in court said no nerve damage, and the doctor on the report said no nerve involvement. So Milagro said, then Megan Thee Stallion's lying. She said she has nerve damage in her foot. That's not true. There's no medical evidence of that. There's no medical record of her having nerve damage. The doctor said she doesn't. So Meg Thee Stallion said that is defamation. To say she lied about nerve damage. So the lawyer, Milagro's lawyer, says, all right, bet. Can you read from this report what it says? No nerve damage. And then can you read from here what it says? No nerve involvement. And Megan apparently, when confronted with this
Nutcracker, magical Christmas ballet returns to La Mirada. The holidays are about family, tradition, and memories.
You know what?
I believe impeachment
We're not
evidence.
gonna miss it
Evidence
this year.
that makes her look like she lied. Makes it look like it. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if she has nerve damage. I'm not a doctor and all of that. But if the doctor's saying there's no nerve involvement and there's no nerve damage, Megan Thee Stallion's saying on the stand under penalty of perjury, I have nerve damage in my foot, my right foot, mind you. And apparently there was really no nerve damage in the right foot. How is it defamation? How is it a false statement to say you lied about nerve damage? You didn't tell the truth. So, I mean, here's you and then presented her with her deposition that said she had nerve damage. So each one of these things, right? This is a defamation claim, and within the defamation claim, there's these different little counts. One, my mom is a thief. Well, I think Milagro's lawyer did a great job saying, didn't you say yesterday your mom is a thief because you said she stole from Walmart? Okay, next. Lied on the stand. Lied on the stand about whether you fought Kelsey. Well, look at all this evidence, including a TMZ article that the jury wasn't actually allowed to see. But the scratches, the acrylic nail, the necklace, all of the other evidence, this Sean Kelly calling and saying there's two women fighting. And Milagro said, well, she lied on the stand when she said she didn't fight Kelsey. That was Milagro's opinion. Megan said, I guess I did say that. So Megan said, I guess I did say that when confronted with the transcript. She also then, to prove that, or to try to prove that Megan is a so-called supposed liar, the lawyer for Milagro then asked, well, did you lie on Gayle King about whether or not you had an incestual relationship with Tory Lanez? You told her you didn't. And Megan tried to kind of skirt around that too. And these are two of the ways that Armand said that Megan wasn't coming across good, because she would start to become more combative, more catty, more rude, more entitled, according to Armand, who was in the courtroom and I was not. When confronted with these things, you said you had nerve damage. Look at you, look. You said it right here. Can you read what the doctor said? And then whenever she read it, she's like, well, that's involvement. What's involvement? What's that even mean? What's involvement? Okay, well, you're making yourself look bad, for one, and petty. But on top of all of that, you're kind of proving the point that you don't even know what nerve involvement is. So how are you going to say that Milagro made a false statement of fact when you are admitting not to even knowing what nerve involvement is? Maybe nerve involvement means nerve damage. Then they went back and forth over bullet versus bullet fragments. Milagros said the fact that Megan sat up there and said, I have bullets in my feet, when clearly she only had shards of something in her feet, fragments if anything, based on the x-ray. Then Megan lied when she said she had a whole bullet in her leg, or whatever, right? There was some going back and forth on that.
Fuck yes.
Did you lie on Gayle King? She said she was combative and evasive. Then they talked about the drinking problem a little bit. And at some point, according to Armand, the lawyer got Megan to admit that she really did the same thing that Milagro did to her. It was in the context of talking about
lava crab.
The mouthpiece, right? One of the things that Milagro is getting sued for is that third claim, which is the intentional infliction of emotional distress, and that requires heinous and outrageous behaviors, like really severe stuff. And that's why I don't think she's going to win on that. I don't think Megan the Stallion is going to win. I think Milagro is going to win on that. I don't know. Juries can decide anything. Who knows? We'll have to see. But that is where the Tory Lanez using Milagro as a mouthpiece comes into play. So if it were the case, right, like this is Megan the Stallion's argument, just so y'all can understand the context. She's saying, and her lawyers are saying, she is a victim of a crime, a pew-pew crime. Her assailant is spending 10 years in prison right now. He appealed, and the thing has been affirmed. He's fitting to be in prison, okay? And there is a restraining order against him. He cannot talk about her. There is a gag order. He cannot contact her. She is a victim of a crime, right? This is their argument, and also that is true. There is a gag order. There is a protective order, and she is a statutory victim of a crime. He was found to be guilty. Whether it was fair or not is working its way through the courts. But as of right now, where we stand right now, November 23rd, 2025 at 2:02 p.m., that is the case. So it's heinous and outrageous. This is Megan the Stallion's lawyer's argument. It's heinous and outrageous that Tory, to get to Megan, to harass her even more, is using Milagro. Now, interestingly, Tory didn't get sued. She ain't suing Tory, just Milagro. Using Milagro as a mouthpiece. Okay, so this is where Milagro's lawyer said, okay, bet.
Holy shit.
Where's your proof for that? Just wondering. Like, so one of the things is you're using
fucking sapphires,
that Tory Lanez is using my client as a mouthpiece, right? Do you have any proof of that? And she said, well, there was those 20,000 deleted text messages, whatever. And she said, okay. But do you have any proof that those deleted text messages were from or between my client and Mr. Peterson? Megan Stallion said no. But I would if it was da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so the lawyer said, all right, let me ask you this. Did you subpoena anybody else's phone records to try to figure out what those 20,000 deleted messages were? No. Okay, so how do you know those weren't messages between Mr. Peterson and, for example, Ms. Harris? Or whatever, right? So Kelsey Harris. So basically, the lawyer, Milagro's lawyer, got Megan to admit that she really doesn't have any proof.
Raw sapphire.
Milagro, even after all this discovery, they've had months to find any proof that Tory Lanez used Milagro Cooper as a mouthpiece to get to Megan the Stallion In fact, and indeed, remember, Milagro also blocked Megan Thee Stallion. So I don't even know how she could possibly have been thinking that it was going to get to Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, there's a lot that has to happen to make this inference. And so the lawyer said, so you don't know
Anybody
for
else see
sure.
this massive ass crab?
The lawyer said, so you don't know for sure that my client was, quote, used as a mouthpiece, right? Megan said, well, no, but I believe it's my belief, and I really think it, and I think there's evidence that shows it. Yeah, I mean, I do. There's, like, you know, if you think about all this and that together. And he said,
Not fish than the lavas.
You're just saying your opinion? You're just saying your opinion then, right? About using the mouthpiece or whatever, right? Which is fine. That's fine. You're allowed to do that, but you're just saying your opinion, right?
Fishing
and Megan
lava.
apparently said
That
in court, in open court,
is poo-poo.
yeah, I'm doing the same thing to her that she did to me. And the lawyer said, so did you defame my client too then? Armand said he ate that up. That lawyer, it was like one of those moments.
No more of this situation or taking off your glasses and putting them on in your head.
One of those moments where you just get them to admit something because they're mad about something else. I'm doing the same thing to her she did to me. Oh, so you defamed her. Or is it the case that my client didn't defame? Like he got her to say it out loud. I think that's really good. I think that this cross-examination absolutely knocked the legs out from under any defamation claim. I truly do. I think it came across as like two girls getting in a girl fight, a girl disagreement online. And I don't know. This is just what I don't know. I wasn't. Okay. Now, something else that came out in court was that Desiree Perez, the CEO of Rock Nation, was keeping a file on Milagro to maybe in the future one day sue. Like, Megan Thee Stallion had texted Desiree Perez and said, do you have a file on that lady or documents or whatever, like, are you keeping information on that lady, meaning Milagro? I really want to sue her. And Desiree said, yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, I mean, this really would bring forth a lot more. I think this would bring forth a lot more support to the theory that the deepfake AI thing was a total setup. They wanted to sue her. She wasn't really doing anything really that defamatory, so they had to utilize this brand new law. This is a theory. This is a theory I've heard that they the ones set her up. You want to know the answer to the question, according to the theory? Why they didn't sue the people who made the video? Because they'd have to sue themselves. They know who made the video and don't care. They were using it as bait. That's the theory. Now, I don't know if I believe that theory. I'm just kind of giving y'all what I've seen out here. Now, then another thing that Megan Thee Stallion is going to have to prove is damages, to some extent. She may be able to not get, presumed special damages, this, that, and the other, but there's all kinds of, there's compensatory damages, there's, punitive damages, there's harm in and of itself without proving any monetary amount. You have to prove you were harmed. One of the elements of the defamation statute in every state is harm. You have to show that you were harmed. If somebody just says like, oh, that girl's crazy, how are you harmed? You have to show you lost a business deal, somebody backed out of a collaboration, your husband moved out the house, whatever. Like, you have to show some type of harm. And it's not even just like the specific dollar amount. Like, you just have to convince that you were harmed at all. Like, getting PTSD, that's a showing of harm. I developed a mental illness, whatever. So, one of the ways that Megan Thee Stallion has attempted to show harm and damages is that she lost business deals. One of them was Google Pixel phone. One of them was Call of Duty skin or whatever. So, Milagro's lawyer pulled up emails and communications saying Megan was making unreasonable demands, trying to get private jets. She wasn't actually being engaged or excited about the deal. There were communications presented with Travis Ferris, the best friend or whatever, saying, or whatever he is, roommate, saying if it won't make you feel better, then you shouldn't do the show. So it's just Megan, okay, if it won't make you feel better, we read a little bit of that earlier. She pulled out a Call of Duty deal because she didn't want to get shot in a game, so the lawyer was like, did you ever ask Call of Duty for a collaboration? She said no. Milagro's lawyer asked Megan Thee Stallion, do you know what a skin is in Call of Duty? She said no. So Milagro's lawyer pulls up a tweet where it does appear that Megan Thee Stallion, after the shooting, was publicly tweeting Call of Duty asking them to do a Megan Thee Stallion skin. So he presented her with that, and she said, "Oh, I don't know if that's real or not, but if it's real, I didn't tweet that. No, somebody else must have tweeted that." Okay. So she did ask for a Call of Duty collab. At least her public account did. Then there was some discussion about Milagro retweeting or copying information from DJ Academics. He had tweeted something publicly, and then Milagro basically tweeted something very similar to that right after him, so implying that she could have gotten that information from him. There was some discussion about that. No proof. Armand said it seemed like it was a girl fight. Okay, then there was some stuff about the DNA on the gun. And whether or not saying there was no DNA on the gun is defamation or not is like, it even qualifies. Who's harmed? What's the harm of saying there was no DNA on the gun? But again, this is one of those very particular things. It's like nerve damage versus nerve involvement, right? It's like very in the weeds. Tory Lanez's DNA was...
I can't believe more people aren't talking about this. So I'm going to be the one to put you on to Oaktree fragrances. They're long-lasting.
Not conclusively found to be on the gun. It was excluded from the magazine, where the bullets were. His DNA was nowhere on there. Neither were his fingerprints. But as to the gun, Tory Lanez's DNA was not able to be completely excluded, but it also was not able to be included. It was inconclusive. You just couldn't know if his DNA was on the gun, yes or no. So as you can probably imagine, both sides kind of try to use that to their advantage along the way. And, well, it wasn't included, well, it wasn't this, that. But it's kind of like a difficult concept. I mean, you really have to get down into the deoxyribonucleic acid of it all to even know what in the hell, how that can even be possible. And the reason is because of the, you remember whenever we were in biology and they had those like 4 different combination of letters up the DNA chain, the A and the C can only go together, and the T and the G or whatever it is can only go together. I think it's A and P, I don't remember. But there's A, T, C, G, and like all these different possible combinations are what gives us our genetic traits, and our DNA expresses through our DNA. So everybody's DNA in the whole world is made up of like a certain amount of these amino chains, and there's only 4 of them, and they can be combined in different ways. And a certain amount, this and that and the other, is like X chromosomes, Y chromosomes, so they're able to include or exclude women, and then the chromosomes end up getting separated from the, right? Do you understand all this stuff? You have to understand to even understand what's going on here. Okay, and I'm doing a piss poor job explaining it. Okay, this is like drunk history for dummies at Port Allen High School, which shout out to Port Allen High School. They're finally at A school. Shout out to them. Anyway, what I'm saying is this is kind of nitpicky. It's kind of nitpicky. Was the DNA included on the gun, not on the gun, according to how Milagro and Academics construed it? No, it wasn't. Because if you can't say it was on there, then it wasn't on there. But again, there's all this middle ground. The fragments, the mouthpiece. Okay, did you tell the doctor? Okay, yeah, this is another good moment that apparently the lawyer had on the stand, or when Megan was being cross-examined on the stand, the lawyer said, okay, so that doctor that got up here and testified, you know, the one that you paid $25,000 already or whatever, that one, that lady, did you pay her to be your mouthpiece? Megan said no. Right, she's just giving you her opinion, right? Yeah. What about your producer? Did you pay him to get up here and be your mouthpiece? I'm just wondering, did you pay him to be your mouthpiece when he sat up here and testified to you? Megan said no. They were just giving their opinion. Armand said that was another shining moment for the lawyer because it really drives home. How do we know? You know, she kind of is paying that lawyer to be your mouthpiece in a way. I mean, not lawyer, doctor. She's paying her to show up and testify, and like, you know, there's this legal fiction that like the professionals aren't going to say anything they don't already believe, but it's just kind of hard to believe that because almost every high-profile trial with the, you know, 2 sides that are well matched, you're going to have 2 experts that are going to disagree. There's going to be no possible way both of those things can be true, and this expert. So like, I don't know, are they doing it because they really believe it or because they're getting paid to do it? This is something that's been discussed. Much ink has been shed. Okay, then they got into the gag order. Do you know what a gag order is? Megan said yes. Do you know who all is on the gag order? Who does the gag order cover? Meg said, I guess everybody. I guess everybody. The lawyer said, did you talk, Miss Pete? Did you talk to the media yesterday on your way out of this courthouse? The answer is yes, she did. I saw it. She had said something like, just because you have the right to free speech doesn't mean you have the right to bully. And it really stuck out in my mind a lot that she said that, because that's exactly what Beth Karis said about me. That's exactly what she said about me whenever I was just exercising my right to free speech, which I'm not sorry for, by the way. And I would do and will continue to do again. Beth Karis said something just like that. She said, just because you have the right to free speech doesn't mean you have the right to blah, 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 some bullshit. And I was like, that sounded like such a soundbite. Meg the Stallion in her suit, walking out of court, said the same type of allegation, same type of soundbite. And I think she might have been talking to Megan Cuniff, although it could have been Donat. I don't know who exactly she was talking to. I don't remember off the top of my head. But she's walking out and she's like, just because you have the right to free speech doesn't mean you have the right to bully. And she got in her black car and left. Well, the lawyer asked her about it. Milagro's lawyer said, did you talk to the media yesterday? Ma'am? Even though you're not allowed to talk to the media? Under the gag order you just acknowledged exists and applies to you? Armand said it yet again. This is the third time I'm bringing this up. Was a little biased again here for the third time, because the judge would not allow that to be discussed. Wouldn't let the TMZ article get shown. Wouldn't let the question of whether or not Megan Thee Stallion talked to the talked to the media in violation of the gag order. Wouldn't let that be discussed. Everyone's on a gag order. And then the lawyer says, so when did the gag order start? 2022. Okay. So when are the texts that you were able to find between my client Milagro and Tory Lanez? When are those texts from? Megan Thee Stallion said they're from 2020. Okay. So the only proof you have that they ever talked was from 2020. The gag order doesn't get put in place until 2022. You have no proof they even ever spoke since the gag order was put into place, much less used as a mouthpiece. And yet you implied we're talking to the media yesterday in violation of the gag order. So who was using who as a mouthpiece? Was it you? And Megan Cuniff did tweet about it. And people are following Megan Cuniff. She's been on real media interviews, mainstream media interviews in relation to this case. She's being considered to be a media source, from what I can tell. So I think the lawyer was kind of trying to show maybe there's a way Megan Thee Stallion is using somebody as her mouthpiece. If what Milagro is doing is being used as a mouthpiece, then I don't know. It seemed like that was kind of like all brought up at the same time to try and imply that. And to further the showing or the argument that Milagro's team is trying to make that she was not a mouthpiece. There's no evidence. You have no evidence. You're just squawking your opinion. You've had all these months, all these depositions, all these records, all this access to thousands and thousands of texts and records and financial and all of this stuff. You were not able to find one shred of proof. My client even talked to Tory Lanez since the gag order was put in place. So how on earth are you expecting a jury to believe it? I think that was kind of what he was trying to get across. Do you have proof Tory used her as a mouthpiece? No, you don't. Then asked Miss Pete. Miss Stallion, have you ever blocked?
It took me 30 years of doing laundry to learn this, but I'll teach it to you in about 1 minute.
We all know that liquid detergents don't have a hard time dissolving it.
My client Milagro Cooper, is she blocked on social media? Megan said, I don't know. Could be blocked. I don't know. And again, Armand was really driving home that she was acting like very snotty and entitled instead of just like, I don't remember. I don't know, could have. Okay. So you don't know. She could be blocked. She could not be blocked. You don't know.
Suction pumps.
No. So Milagro's lawyer's like, okay, so let me refresh.
How do you make an
refresh your recollection? I'm gonna pull up your deposition. We're gonna play an excerpt here.
Dude, holy crap.
Within that recording, Megan Pete was asked, did you ever block Milagro?
Oh, you're
and in the
actually
deposition,
cut
Milagro,
lumber solid
in the
and supple.
deposition, Megan
Okay.
the Stallion said no, I
Do
did
I have
not.
enough of you cut already?
Okay, obviously the question was then asked, why didn't you block her? You're saying she harassed you, defamed you, conspired you. You didn't bother to block her? The first thing anybody would probably do if they're getting harassed is block somebody so you don't see that stuff. Megan said, no, I didn't block her because the reason I didn't is because I wanted her to keep seeing me win. I wanted her to know, oh, she's winning. She's not stopping anything I got going on. And I put in my notes, wait, hold on. Didn't you just testify that your entirety of your harm, the entirety of the harm that you have to prove for defamation specifically, was you did lose? You lost brand deals with Google. You lost a brand deal with Just Eat. You lost a brand deal with Call of Duty. These are losings. These are not winnings. So you're admitting at one point that you did keep winning in your deposition. Oh, I wanted her to keep seeing me keep winning. But now you're saying you weren't winning, you were losing. You couldn't do your brand deals, but you wanted her to keep seeing your brand deals. So which one is it? I think that's great for the lawyer to bring that up like that. How is she winning and not losing? And also losing and not winning at the same time? Maybe it makes sense to somebody, it don't make sense to me.
Oh.
It also, according to Armand, just stood more for the proposition that this is just kind of like a girl fight. Like, if the jury sees it as that, it'll be harder for them to see it as like a legal crime and more just like y'all need to both get over each other. She also claimed that she was too big to fight Kelsey. Kelsey's little and she's big. And I think that is a lot of the reason why they had an unsolvable beef in the first place. I think Megan Thee Stallion, despite the fact I personally believe she's beautiful, truly, there's like not a flaw on the woman, I gotta say, that I've seen. So she's beautiful, but I know it. Like, I'm 5'3", and sometimes I've felt like, you know, next to little short, little petite people, more short, more petite than me. So I know the like society pressure and the like male gaze pressure and all this pressure to like be petite and be little as a woman. And that is, she grew up in Houston and she said it before. She was bullied for being big. Or large, you know, statuesque. She's not big. Like, I would say she's just like a larger than average woman. And she has claimed before that she got bullied for that. And she had to, you know, do a lot of work to become, like have self-acceptance. But I think that's some of the reason why there's always a little bit of animosity and stuff, because Kelsey is like not even 5 feet tall. She is like like very tiny individual. And apparently like a lot of people like her. She's charismatic. So there might have been some jealousy there. And the other way, Kelsey might have also been jealous. Like, why does Meg Thee Stallion, my best friend from college, get to have all these exclusive, like, you know, deals? And why does she get to be some? There might have been a two-way jealousy there. Anyway, so she was saying like, I'm too big to fight Kelsey. Now, I do want to point out that on Friday, another person entered the chat as far as commentators on the case, and this was Ariel Mitchell. I think her last name's Kidd. Ariel Mitchell. She was on at least one, maybe a few cases against Diddy with the civil cases. And she did a few interviews. She was the one who was saying that, you know, there was apparently a tape going around that was being maybe shopped around or something like that. And I think she may have gone on interviews with Courtney Burgess, if I recall correctly. So she went on Friday too. I don't know if she was there on Thursday, but she was there on Friday, and I was actually blown away with the way that, you know, especially with how Armand explained what went on in court, the way he explained what went on. It was like Megan got. Whenever she said, I'm doing the same thing to Kelsey, I'm doing the same thing to I'm doing the same thing to her, meaning Milagro, as what she did to me. And then the lawyer was like, so did you defame my client? Or was that just your opinion? So the way Armand put it, he was like, ooh, he ate with that. Ooh, he ate with that. Like, he kept saying it over and over like he really meant it. And he was in the courtroom. So I take that to be credible. And so somebody had tweeted that too. I think maybe it was him. Somebody tweeted it. I retweeted it. And I was like, this is going to stick out to the jury for sure. Well, Ariel Mitchell Kidd responded to that. She don't follow me, so I don't know how she saw the tweet. But she did respond to my tweet. And she said, No, it isn't. It's not going to stand out to the jury. In other words, remember, she's a lawyer, and she's representing clients against Diddy. It's not going to stand out to the jury because Meg Thee Stallion was walking all over Milagros' lawyer. I don't even know what in the hell that lawyer was thinking. And this is coming from somebody that was not only in the room, but does trials. And it's like, check freaking me, okay? I can't argue with that. I wasn't in the room, and I don't do trials. So I do want to just add that in there, that there is a little bit of a, I would say like a discrepancy between what's being reported by Armand, who I have found his court coverage to be credible, and what is being reported by Ariel Mitchell Kidd, who I also find to be credible because she is a lawyer and because she was there. So I just wanted to point out that there's kind of like, and I like doing that. I like pointing out that there's like different, you know, because the way Armand was doing was like that hit. Maybe Armand might have a better finger on the pulse of what a juror might think because he's not a lawyer and he doesn't do trials all the time. Maybe Ariel Mitchell might have a better finger on the pulse of what the jury is going to think because she is used to analyzing juries. So I don't know. Personally, I have no idea. No way to know.
Anyway, that's
okay,
enough.
So that
going to bed.
brings to conclusion Act 1 of this video.
Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to check out social media
And we gotta go to
updates
Act
and
2
whatnot.
because all of
Bye,
that might
love
be
you.
from-
Bye.
Well, everything we